Hello, and welcome to the very first episode of the Survivor Rankdown podcast. I am your host, Mike Ramp72. I did Survivor Rankdown in 2020 as part of Rankdown 6, and I'm here leading our first podcast on the day that they officially revealed the Survivor 50 cast. I say officially because we have all known this cast for some time now. Um, you want to jump right into introductions?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's
All
do
right.
it.
We'll start alphabetically on my screen. So, Funky.
All right. Hey, first of all, what do you mean y'all have known about the cast of 50 for a while now? I don't know what's going on, y'all. Okay,
Yeah,
but
for
in
real.
all seriousness, it's Funky. I'm currently doing Survivor Rankdown 9. I'm very excited to be here, and y'all, we're gonna have a good time.
I'm Kyle. I've never done a rank down, and I like Thailand more than Cagayan.
Raw.
Yeah,
Hi,
a lot.
I'm Mana. I did Survivor Rankdown 7, and I'm the world's biggest Keith Nail fan. I got him to
Yep.
end game like a week before he died. So, hi guys.
Sign of the cross on that one.
Hello.
All right. Hello, I am Nope, or in other places, Noisy or Noisy C34 on Reddit. I'm currently doing Rank Down 9 as well with Funky, and it is the Taylor Swift's honest truth that I am very much not looking forward to Charlie Davis 2.0.
All right. Hello. My name is my username on Reddit is Ramscake, Rams for short, and I did Survivor Rankdown 3, which I believe started in 2016, so about 10 years ago. And I'm a huge old school fan, and I could not be more excited for Stephenie Lagrosa 4.0.
And I'm Shroswald. I was with Mana in Survivor Rankdown 7, and I am I don't know, I have takes, probably. I like Lil. That's one take.
Hell yeah, that's
Awesome.
the best.
Yeah.
take.
Oh yeah.
I heard we had the biggest Keith Nail fan. We also have the two biggest Keith Famey fans here also. So
yes.
me and Shroz, we throw down for our man Keith Famey.
I might be
Whoa,
3.
whoa,
I might be
whoa.
the third biggest Keith Famey fan.
I think
I
this
gave
is
him a 9 out of 10 when I rewatched Australian Outback a couple weeks ago.
I gave him
Okay,
a 10
but
out
can
of
we
10
agree
when I
that
found out
Keith
he looks
Sowell's
like
bad?
Colonel Sanders.
I'm
I like
a
Keith
big-
Soul. I like all the Keiths.
Yeah.
Keith Sowell, I think, is fine for someone that they purposely cast to be terrible.
I just feel bad
I
for
would
him.
agree
He's
with
such a
that.
kid.
Mhm.
Yeah, they cast someone just to be worse than David in challenges, so they cast like a little kid,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
really sad, but it works.
So, are you guys ready to just jump right on into this and, all of us give our thoughts on, the casting, how well you think they'll do as characters,
yeah.
Sure.
game, and winner
Yeah.
picks and all that? All right, let's go right into
Yeah,
it. We
and I
are
think we're going from oldest to youngest, right?
Yep,
Yes.
we are. We
All
are
right, so
starting with the
we're
oldest contestant and going into the youngest. So we are
all
starting
right.
out
So we're
with
starting January
David
3rd,
versus.
1969. Gandia Johnson,
Oh yeah.
right?
Oh yeah.
Go.
56 years old.
Go.
Absolutely.
Gandia Johnson.
My winner pick.
Winner pick. No, but we are going to be starting with the runner-up of Survivor David versus Goliath and White Lotus showrunner Mike White.
First thought, I'm
And the
really
crowd
excited.
goes mild.
I think
Well,
he's. I gotta be honest. I think he's a super fun confessionalist and a good personality. I think his story on David versus Goliath is a little messy, but as a returning character, I think he could really deliver.
Yeah.
I feel like
All right, go ahead.
I feel like Mike White's best role in Survivor is talking Jeff down from adding fire tokens to the new era.
Thank you for saving us from Rick Devon's advantage shop.
Yeah, the big elephant in the room with Mike White, a lot of this is he really is just Jeff's friend in real life, like before he ever got on Survivor in any of this. So it's kind of weird. It's almost like it's not exactly like it, but it's like a producer on the show is playing in a sense.
Yeah.
So
They thought
it's
it was rigged for Eva.
oh yeah.
Yeah. No,
This time Mike
White's-
White will find all the advantages.
Yeah, Mike White's way of getting through the casting process on 50 apparently was Jeff being like, "Yo, you're busy with the White Lotus, so I understand if you never want to play again." And Mike White was like, "I want to go on the show. I will pause White Lotus stuff to go on the show." And Probst was like, "Okay, so he's on 50."
Yeah.
Anybody, how are we feeling about
I think
his chances in the game?
yeah,
He's not winning.
I think the biggest variable with Mike White going into this season is obviously the big thing of him being the White Lotus guy now, and he's kind of a pretty big deal currently at this point. So you don't really know whether people are going to be like, "Oh, this guy's really famous. We shouldn't give him the money," or "I need to get that White Lotus check. Let me align with him."
I think it'll be a little bit of both. I think
Yeah.
he's
I can
too
see.
big to
I'd agree with that.
get
I
the
can see
jury vote
Mike
check.
White getting just dragged to the end again.
I
Yeah.
I don't
hope
know about
they
drag.
take him to
I
the
think
end, and then
pull
he
himself
gets
to the end.
expelled from the game for bringing in THC.
Yeah, well,
That's
I
my
hope
last time.
he goes to the end and throws it so that the biggest MAGA in the cast would win again. That'd be
Yeah, I mean,
Colby win.
that'd be fun.
Oh
A Colby
my
win. Oh no.
Oh, God.
Nah,
Okay.
that's
Joe England
he
back from
started his career
Extinction.
throwing it for Tina, and he ends his career getting it thrown to him from Mike.
yeah, perfect circle.
All right. So my take on Mike White is that I really disliked him on David vs. Goliath. Unlike Kyle, I just do not like him as a professionalist. I really think that the end game of David vs. Goliath drags, and partially because of him. With that said, he's an undeniably very interesting returnee. As y'all have mentioned, he's now he was like kind of a big deal before David vs. Goliath. He's now a super big deal now. White Lotus is one of the biggest shows of the past few years. And the fact that he's like on like as a mega famous person is like legitimately interesting. As a player, he's legitimately creative, and I think if he tries to win, there's a lot of stuff he could do with his celebrity that I think could make him like fairly interesting. But once again, I think as a TV personality, I don't love him. So that's my Mike White take.
Yeah, I'm kind of in that same boat where I don't really think Mike White's all that. A lot of times with these players that are more, and Mike has done other reality TV shows, so the shine had already kind of worn off. He kind of knew how to work the cameras, this and that.
Yeah, because he was like a big thing on the Amazing Race 14 with Mel White.
Yeah, his father. So it was almost like watching a returning player that first time, someone that kind of knew how to already navigate the TV show elements of it, and it kind of just devolved a little bit from the rawness I usually like on Survivor. But like as a personality, he's fine.
Yeah. I mean, like, in terms of like him being a celebrity and coming back to play, like he was already a celebrity on David vs. Goliath. Like people recognize him for like School of Rock.
He's
So
just like an
Yeah.
actor in School of Rock.
yeah.
Ned Schneebly.
Shout out to Richard Linklater.
Ned Schneebly. So like I don't really feel like he's I don't know. I feel like he's just going to be one of the 24, especially since a lot of the Survivor fandom is just so like has the blinders up and it's like, "Oh yeah, Mike White, he's that guy from David versus Goliath." So I don't really think that his celebrity is going to affect too much besides the fact that he's probably just not able to win the game itself. And
Yeah.
also people desperately trying to get on season 4 of the White Lotus.
Who's our pick for season 4 cameo from the White
finally
Lotus?
becomes a movie
The
star.
Rizzo's definitely
Rizzo?
on season 4 of the White Lotus. Yeah.
The Riz
I
God.
think Charlie, but I
Mike-
hope for
Yeah.
Coates.
Yeah.
I think
yeah.
Jenna Lewis
You-
will sneak her way in there. I think she has the face for it. We'll see like her backside in a bikini or something.
Just as good.
Come on,
She's
Colby
going to be
cameo.
just as good as as that one time where she was the lead actress in that horror movie that Rob Cesternino directed.
True that.
When she was in the Without Me music video.
Oh yeah!
She was.
Oh my
We'll
God!
get
Yes,
to
the
that.
And we will
Yes,
definitely bring that up more
exactly.
during the Jenna Lewis discussion.
We're all
We
just
will.
waiting to see.
We will. So, all right, what's our verdict on Mike White? Is he priest?
Dead man walking.
Is he out early? Is he right before the merge? Is he early in the merge, later merge, or
Solid stay in the game, not winning. That's
I
my.
think he's
I think he
out
makes it pretty
early,
deep. I think he makes it
or
pretty deep.
he's a finalist.
Another
Early boot
thing
He's
with
or
he is 54. You know, he's
Yeah,
an old.
we
He's
are
not,
just-
he's not a young man.
Yeah. we're talking about the oldest castaway here. Who knows if he can hack it physically? But I assume they're gonna put him on the tribe that wins everything. If I had to make a
they're
guess,
not
like
gonna
Yes.
show
this
Mike
is
White on the
3
loser
tribe
side.
Survivor. I assume they're gonna try to do the disaster tribe thing that they love doing every time. Like it might be a little harder to pull off in a
But they
returnee
might
season.
also
Yeah.
be booting 2 people every pre-merge episode.
Yeah, no,
That's
that's a good point.
definitely a possibility.
Oh my god, 24 people in 26 days. Oh my god, this is not going to be a
Dude,
good
Survivor
season.
producers are smart, man.
Yes.
Good time management skills.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
we'll be talking about this a lot.
Alright,
Where
let's
it's
move on.
like this whole 24 player in 26 days thing. I don't know how this is gonna go.
I hope it will work out, but I don't think it will.
It won't.
Yeah,
They don't manage
I
to
try
get
to stay
20
positive.
players in 39 days.
Yeah, so
All
I
right.
try to stay
Do we think-
positive. I can't.
yeah,
Yeah.
so
Do we
our
think that
overall
Mike
verdict-
White? Oh, real quick, do we think Mike White is actually scripting this season of Survivor? He's there in person.
Oh,
to
yeah.
script
Ooh,
it.
true,
He
true,
is
true, true.
probably
Paid
getting
actors.
ideas for White Lotus season 4 while on this season.
maybe
Yeah,
he'll
I
drop
think
a
what you said is
better
actually
season
real.
season 3
I hope so.
as a White Lotus viewer.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
our verdict on Mike White is he goes kind of sort of deepish.
Yeah, I
That's
think there's going to be enough people that will kiss his ass enough to make it a little decently far, but not too far, because they're going to
Yeah.
eventually realize, oh wait, this guy is Mike White.
I do
Yeah,
think he
good.
either goes out early or he makes it like super deep.
Yeah,
Or no
once he
middle
gets to
ground.
the
I'm
merge, I
expecting him to
think
come in,
he'll
like,
he'll
14th.
soar.
I feel like that'd be weird.
Yeah, all right.
14th
and-
being middle of the pack is insane.
all right.
By the way,
So, next up we have I don't even have to introduce her, Cirie Fields.
Panama, too many.
Yeah, Panama,
geez.
way too many other seasons.
the
I'm just
saying.
traitors,
Oh
snake in
wow,
the
it's my
grass,
favorite Big Brother player.
When's the
Raiders
last
might
time
be
she
her
stepped in a
best.
hospital?
Raiders might be her best showing ever.
Probably before Game Changers. Yeah, this, I hate to say it, I think we're looking at the Cirie first boot season.
Cirie's
Yeah.
gone immediately.
Yeah.
She's
Should
out.
pro-
Like, do they
should
put her on the
probably
winning
give-
tribe? Yeah, but like the second she's on, she'll go home the first time that she can, unless she just gets like the insane plot armor she had in Game Changers, and she just does not go to tribal until the merge, and people are just like, well, too many people have been beefing with too many people for us to get rid of Serene now. Like, that's not going to happen again.
Yeah. And I do think though that if there's anybody that's going to get that plot armor, it is probably Cirie. But yeah, the odds are very stacked against her here with her
I'll
status.
say this though. I was saying the same thing going into Big Brother 25, and she comes in 5th. So
Yeah,
And she was
Who knows?
looking set up for a win before her son messed up her game. Like the fact is,
Yeah.
I get the argument
It's
Cirie
so
probably
hard
first
to bet
week,
against
but
Cirie.
Cirie is really, really, really good at these games. Like absurdly good. Like Trader Season 1 is one of the greatest strategies, seasons of strategy that I've ever seen from quite literally anyone. It's just pure
Insane.
dominance from someone who just knows how to manipulate people. So yes, objectively, Cirie should be first out on a 26-day season with 24 people. You got, with her status, she's been so visible over the past few years with Snake in the Grass, as y'all said, Trader. She's on Australian Survivor vs. the World that's airing at some point. Like, she's been everywhere. But it's Cirie. She's really, really good at these games. And honestly, I think she still has some potential as a personality. She was great on The Trader. She had some moments on Big Brother. Like, I think she's still a fun personality, even if she is a bit overexposed recently.
Yeah, the fact that we've been seeing so much of her takes a little bit of shine off as a character, but the floor for Cirie is very high. She's still Cirie.
I do feel like
Cirie 3.0 is like fine,
Yeah.
I do feel like she probably I feel like her showing on the Traders kind of makes me a little more like optimistic for how she'll do. Like I feel like she was so insanely good on the Traders, but also I don't know if Colby Donaldson is as easily manipulated as Cody Calafiore.
Yes.
Cody Calafiore, famous and not the greatest decision maker of all time. If you look at Big Brother 16,
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Same with that other trader that was there. Was whatever his name was.
Christian De La Torre, legend.
Christian, yeah.
Also, Arlie.
Yeah,
the only time Cirie has ever gone out early on any reality show is when Colby, JT, and Tom Westman teamed up to get her out.
Yeah, like 3 of the best players ever.
Hey,
The dream team.
Colby is here this time, so we'll see if they ever meet up.
Something to get back to Cirie's time on Survivor. The last time we saw her on Game Changers, to me it felt like the appeal for the most part was, oh look, it's the character you like, and then they didn't really do anything to justify why I actually like this character. Like, yeah, she has a cute laugh still, and yeah, she can cut like a decent confessional about everything, but I'm like, okay, she's there. What, and, I felt she was kind of washed at that point already. The only stuff that really, to me, seemed interesting that she brought was kind of the Michaela mentorship, after Michaela points out that they're the first 2 Black women ever make the merge at the same time. And I think that brought some interesting stuff out of her.
I agree.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah. I mean, also, like, Game Changers has, like, probably the number 3 and number 2 worst scenes on Game Changers involve Cirie.
Yeah.
It's the fucking final 6 advantage Gen tribal and the fucking balance beam.
Oh dear Lord.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say the not transferable.
I also thought you were gonna mention that.
Yeah, the non-transferable one is also just insanely bad, but yeah, the balance beam is a very good shout.
Yeah,
The balance beam rivals Jeff Varner.
Yeah, Cirie would have the 3 worst moments on all of Game Changers, if not for the fact that Jeff Varner was such a piece of shit.
I don't know. I'd argue the number 2 worst moment of Game Changers is a tie between every scene that Debbie's in. So
that is also true.
Jeff Varner versus balance beam.
Oh god.
Yeah,
but I'm excited for Cirie, though I do think a little bit down. I think she's kind of doomed.
Yeah, I think she is pretty cooked, and I think she's closer to Wash than I'd like to admit.
Yeah.
But it's like,
it's
still Cirie, and yeah, like if there's anyone that can surprise me, she could. I think.
Yeah, one thing that also
I'm
is
going to be optimistic.
One thing that also could be working against her potentially is the new challenge sit-out rule, where you can't sit out people back to back.
Like actually back to back, not.
Yeah, I think after was it Claire?
Yeah, Claire Rapson.
Because the Claire Rapson controversy in season 44, where she sit out every challenge, they had to change that rule where you can't sit out back to back. You can't sit out the same person back to back anymore.
Yeah, because before you used to be within the same cycle, but then because like they kept doing rewards and immunities in the same cycle, people could just sit out every challenge. But then Claire changed that. So in other words, if Cirie goes home early on this season, we can blame Claire Rapson.
Yeah,
or we can blame the casuals for hating
Heather only made the merge, and Nuvu only dominated because of that loophole.
Yeah,
like Heather is terrible at challenges, and yet she managed to make Final Four because her tribe won the first challenge, and so she never had to compete in an immunity challenge again.
I will say, Uwa is also a uniquely terrible tribe of challenges. But, there's no
lay off my boy JD.
They got
Bonnie.
Yeah. All right, who's next? Who's next?
So, verdict on Cirie. She's cooked.
She is most likely cooked, but I'm not gonna rule it out.
Anything past first boot, I'm pleasantly surprised by.
If she's not cooked, she's probably the best character, which says more about the quality of this season than her. But
I think we have a few characters I like more than her, but she is in that upper echelon.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
Yes, because it is still Cirie after all.
Next up, we have Heroes vs. Healers vs. Hustlers. Runner-up, Chrissy Hoffbeck.
Yeah,
makes sense. Makes sense
is
at the HHH rep.
Yeah,
straight up. Really hope
we haven't been mentioning the names, even though we've been going in chronological order of how old they are. This is our third person who's 54. Mike, Cirie, Chrissy, all 54.
Mm-hmm.
We really did get on Fiverr.
Yeah,
makes sense that Chrissy's the HHF rep because they couldn't afford to give a spot to Devin's mom.
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm
excited.
What I'm scared about with Chrissy to me, in Heroes versus Healers versus Hustlers, to me, it felt like when they played a lot of the Chrissy scenes and, she's going, I think I am mastering the social game and this, and that. It felt like they were making fun of her. And I felt a sense of irony in those scenes. Nowadays, they play scenes like that all the time, just completely straight. And like, we're supposed to be taking them seriously as like legit masterminds of the game. And I'm just like, oh no, like
the Shaheen scenes, bro.
Yeah, the Shaheen effect.
The shot.
Chrissy is a sneaky winner pick here, though. I think she could really pull it.
I do agree. Like, I think she knows what she fucked up with the first time. She's extremely aggressive.
She should have gotten production to rig it for her.
It's it's been enough time. She's flown under the radar, but people still think it's like, oh yeah, she should have won. Whatever. Like, I feel like Chrissy is actually in a very, very good spot coming into the season. That said, I think there is a chance she just overplays like crazy and blows her game up like right away.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
My question is gonna be, who are her connections here? Like, I don't know if she's been all that active in like Survivor alumni events in the past like few years, and she hasn't played with anyone here. Like, I'm just not quite sure like who she's gonna align with, especially because this season there's gonna be so much pre-gaming here. Like, I imagine she's able to align with the David vs. Goliath people and maybe with the Game Changers people. Against the new era. If the people from before the new era align against the new era people, she obviously has a good shot. She's a great challenge performer. She shouldn't go home anytime early for challenge strength. As y'all said, she's like a active, if nothing else, strategist. Like, she should be fine. But I do agree with Mike that there's serious overplaying potential here.
I mean, she could find another Ryan and Charlie or Rizo and cruise to the final two again.
Ooh, that is true. That is true.
Yeah.
I am rooting for Chrissy here a little bit. She's one of those people that I did really like her in HHH. She had a lot of good stuff going for her with her character and all that. And I think that she can definitely have a lot of potential, as you guys have said, to really take this game by hold. But yeah, the other big thing we're against her is, of course, that we don't know how good her dynamics are initially to start off. But I think she has the potential to be able to mediate that at least.
Yeah, I also think
one
Chrissy
comment on
Survivor just sounds right. Something about it.
Yeah.
One comment on pre-gaming is that, with how much production has been fucking with everyone, there are probably a lot of broken pre-game alliances coming in.
Yeah. An all-stars scenario in a way.
Yeah.
A bunch of people have pre-game alliances that are not going to be relevant because they had no idea who was going to be on the cast.
Like Randy's pre-game alliance with Ace and Johnny Fairplay.
Yes.
Beautiful.
It's almost the greatest alliance of all time.
It's almost all-stars too. We just need Papa Smurf.
True.
He's still training. He's the 25th castaway.
It's almost all-stars too.
Still waiting to come back though, but Chrissy also I'm gonna get water after I say this because I am very thirsty. But Chrissy also does have a storyline coming into the season, having just beaten cancer. So
that's big.
Yes,
beating cancer, the first quote unquote victim of the fire making challenge too. I don't know if they'll portray that as like a thing because of course they obviously love the fire making challenge, but apparently there's a chance that we won't get it on this season. Like, we voted. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily trust the fan vote fully, but I think that if there is fire making, best possible outcome is that Chrissy wins fire making after she has repeatedly trashed the fire making challenge, and then she goes on to win at the end.
I would love it.
I would also
the reaction of production since the fire making vote has been so massively given off. Oh shit. They really hated the fire making vote, but we want advantages in idol still, so we have to trick them.
Yeah. I also think if there's no fire making best case scenario, Chrissy goes at 4 and would have won if there was fire making.
I
think that would be.
She would have been the legendary person who Jeff talked about, the he who always gets voted out at 4 because he played too great of a game. Chrissy becomes the he.
Yeah,
that'd be pretty epic.
Man's Chrissy.
I do want to bring up two things about Chrissy. First is I'm just amazed they went as far back as Heroes versus Healers versus Hustlers. Like it feels like that season was forever ago. So it's kind of I'm impressed they went that far back, which is kind of silly to say because that's only 35. But you know,
I mean, it was 10 years ago.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Ep1
I
is
think it was
a long time ago now.
Mm-hmm. And second of all, I'm not as optimistic at her chances in front of a jury. Like she just does not seem like a player that I think would ever do that well in front of a jury. And she's not someone I think people want to give $1 million to. Maybe it'll be a little bit different in an all-star season, but you know, she's fairly well off, living in sunny Florida. Kind of comes off abrasive. Not, I think, at least in Heroes for Steelers versus Hustlers, I don't think she was totally aware of the vibe she was giving off a lot of the times.
Yeah,
I do think she is.
I could
along
see her
with everybody
losing a
else
jury
coming
vote
up,
again.
I think she is one of the two losing women finalists that I think is smart enough to look back on why they lost and change the way they play the game to their benefits throughout the
That's fair.
season. So
Yeah. The other
she's
one's Lil,
definitely
right?
she's definitely got
yeah,
enough
the other one's
potential.
Will's on this cast, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. Oh my god. Should they have asked Lil to come back for like
Every
They should
season,
have.
yeah.
I-
All Stars,
they-
Not now.
Palau,
How old is Lil now?
They
Like
should, but
150?
I want to shout out Lil because she got out of the Survivor community almost immediately. She was like, I don't want to be a part of this bullshit. Everyone's
Respect.
too mean. All fans are crazy. This and that. She had her 15 minutes and left and has not done any Survivor things ever since. And her cat still talks shit about her. You know, everyone still talks shit about her and all that. So all the props in the world to Lil. I think there needs to be more people like Lil that go on Survivor who, you know, take their 15 minutes and say, okay, that was a time. Let me live a good life now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So before we move on, what is our verdict on Chrissy?
I think high variance.
I think
Yeah.
good.
You should do
I'm,
good.
I'm excited. I'm very excited.
You could do
Very
good or
excited for
bad,
this game.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So, next up, we have the Dragon Slayer, Coach Wade.
What a picture.
Wow. I want to start off with the point that I think this is the first time Coach has been cast where his fellow castaways might be happy to see him.
Yeah.
Like he actually has fans and stuff now. Like
That is very true.
Kamilla's favorite survivor is Coach.
Which is insane to think about.
Yeah, that was an opinion no one had a long time ago, by the way.
It was one person had it. Mario Lanza had it. No one else.
Mario Lanza had it, but that was it. So
and maybe like Tapara.
I mean, Coach is just what is there to say?
He's the actual man, myth, and legend. Like,
he's the maestro.
Step
Yo,
aside.
The maestro.
Mike, when you edit this, put the eagle search sound every time we say the word Coach, okay?
Oh no, this is as soon as this is done, this is just getting uploaded straight to the YouTube, no edits.
Okay, so I'm gonna get the soundboard out then real quick.
They're calling it the greatest podcast of all time.
They're calling it the greatest.
Coach is not winning. By the way,
he's not winning, but
0% chance of winning.
Yes, he's not winning, but we'll just hope that he can bring the character he's still got, whatever he's got left in him. But on that point about his character, I actually just before this, I was listening to this podcast that Coach did with Mario Lanza. It wasn't actually about Survivor. It was about they were talking about this film called The Last Samurai, which was a film that Coach was really influenced by. And
Tom Cruise.
Yeah. At the end of that podcast, Coach kind of talks about whether he would go on again. And he kind of talks about ever since he read The Funny 115, he doesn't really take himself as seriously as he used to. And he thinks that if he ever did go back on again, he kind of thinks that he would have to try and play in a little bit more to that character that he created for himself because he doesn't really feel that way anymore. But then again, that was also in 2018, so we'll see if that changed or not.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe Coach has gone even more off the rail in the past 7 years.
Oh, he has.
His social media is pretty good.
Yeah,
Like,
no, I was talking to some people at at the Bryson Wendell event, and I'm like, "Yo, have any of you guys met Coach?" And they're like, "Yeah, he is like even more living in his own delusions of grandeur than he is on the show." And you know what? God bless him for it.
Yeah.
I mean,
They said, man, Coach, the guy that did that track with my man Ben Katzman.
Yeah, I mean, like,
Hey, he has
rocks.
connections to the 46 cast members then.
he does.
Yeah.
Also, if they're
He's
smart,
the
they could
honorary
also
member
get
at
Travis
Sega.
Q.
Oh
Yeah,
my God,
that would be fun.
Are we getting
Angelina would be a fun.
Are we getting Tim Spicer on this season to do a rap verse?
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Are we getting the Dragons 2.0?
He's saying that they're gonna release their new album soon. Like
What him, Courtney, and JT?
he said
Yeah.
that they're gonna release the Dragons album in the next week or something. I don't know.
What?
He might have
That's
been joking.
crazy.
What?
Bro, it's Coach. I know.
He's the king of
I'm just
breaking his
saying.
NDA.
I'm
Yeah,
just saying, we
no,
need a
like-
sequel to the Winners at War theme.
Yeah, and
All right, call Ben Katzman. Get him on the phone right
Yeah.
now, bro.
That's gonna be the worst thing I've ever heard. Nah.
So,
You guys
I
need
mean-
no. For anybody of the viewers, you guys need to hear this this album that Ben Katzman of 46 did, and there's one song with Coach playing trumpet. Peak songs right there.
Tim Spicer does a rap. Soda sings on it. D's on it. I think Bryce is on it. Like it's ridiculous.
Yeah, Bryce
It's
Johnston.
ridiculous. Ben Katzman might be the worst lyricist of our time, honestly.
it's him or Big Sean.
Either him or Big Sean. Yeah, Ben Katzman did not say ashtray, so I do respect that.
I think we're good to move on from Coach.
Okay,
so
here my
hopefully not a
he's not,
temporary player.
he's
That's-
not winning, but how far?
I hope he sticks around.
I think he's either first boot or they drag him to the end.
Yeah,
Do
I can see
you
Gil.
He'll probably be like, I don't see any way he's not a pre-merge boot.
Do you think he might get voted? Do you think Coach might get voted off because he is such a big presence and people don't want the screen time stolen from him?
Actually, I'll relate. No, here's my general take on Coach. I think like the fact that Q is on the same season is actually really good for him in terms of like a kind of a recent person who is like a decent analog for him. I think Coach has more longevity than y'all are giving him credit for. Like I think that yes, he's crazy. Yes, he's going to be annoying, but like there are some people on this season also like him. As I said, he's not winning. He's not going to win this season. I think he probably has some legs though, and I think if he shows some of that if he walks that fine line between being in on the joke and not being in on the joke that he was on Token Cheese and Heroes vs. Villains, Coach 4.0 is a success as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, and I think
feel like he's a loyal guy, and we have a lot of loyal guys on this cast. And
yes.
And
yes,
Coach
as we go into it, there's going to be a lot of loyalty as we go into these later people.
So much
Coach is
honor and
also
integrity.
Coach is also very good at spinning his absurdity in a way that can win people over. Like as much as JT and Steven like mocked him mercilessly, behind his back, they liked being a part of that Warriors alliance. They thought it was fun. Meanwhile, no one liked being a part of Philip's Stealth R Us.
Oh, I liked being a part of it.
I will say the funniest thing ever is that he called Eric the silent one because he thought Eric was annoying and wanted him to talk less.
Dear Lord, Philip Shepard.
The
fact that Philip Shepard was in casting for like a week.
Yeah. All right. Do we think that someone in production like kind of misheard and thought that they heard that Boston Rob was pushing for his black friend to get on the show, and someone in production just thought Philip instead of Sean?
Oh god. Oh god.
I really hope not.
I hope not.
Awful.
I
that would be terrible.
We ready to go on to the next one?
Yeah.
Next up, we have the original Captain America,
Colby.
I am draped in a Texas flag as we speak.
Hair plugs and everything.
He needs to win. He needs to win.
Him winning is definitely best case scenario.
If we are going to get the Jerry win, what are we even getting? We have to get Colby.
Yeah,
Yeah.
every egg is in this man's basket.
Yeah,
Look.
I mean, he's the number one, like, most exciting face to see.
Okay.
Oh
Okay.
He's-
Strong Guys Alliance 2 with Colby, Joe, Ozzy. Make it happen.
Make it happen, guys. Make it happen.
Jonathan.
Q would fit right into there.
Stephenie
Yeah,
was
we're gonna
we all
recreate.
agree.
Yeah, we're gonna recreate the
God.
strong six again.
Yeah.
The most
Oh,
successful
yeah.
alliance in history.
The Strong Guys Alliance, the six.
And
Y'all remember
Stephenie, of
this?
course, will be Eva.
Yep.
Yeah.
Should be Maria.
Great choice. Because we know what she would call Eva.
Oh no!
Oh no!
No.
No!
This is gonna be
Alright.
a great first impression for the internet.
Oh yeah, guys, let's go.
I know
So
everyone
how do you guys
here
feel about
is a,
Thailand?
everyone here is a big Colby fan. I think we almost need to explain it because so much of the internet is not, and it just baffles me that it's not like apparently obvious why Colby is phenomenal. You know?
Have you seen
Yeah,
him?
I mean, have you seen the Survivor of the Australian Outback? Colby's obviously a legend. He's like, I think of all the people on this cast, like Colby is like the true legend. Like, look at birth rates for people named Colby in the year 2001. They spiked because of this dude right here, Colby motherfucking Donaldson.
I personally know someone named after Colby Donaldson.
Me too. Yeah.
Yeah. I live in Texas and I still hear people say that Colby was robbed, like regularly. Like if they hear that I'm a Survivor fan, they're like, yeah, dang, I still can't believe Colby lost.
I brought up that I liked Survivor to my therapist, and he brought up Colby.
I mean, there's a reason that he's on this season.
Like a lot of people don't really seem to understand. Yeah, a lot of people don't really seem to understand that Colby is like probably one of the top three most popular, at least top three most popular castaways this show has ever had. He had to be on this if they were gonna if they'd be able to get him.
I mean, it's him, Rupert, and Colleen, right?
Of the three, they have two of the three up here, and the other one is just like, I don't know, Rupert's old.
It's Rupert.
The other one is Rudy.
No, Rudy's dead, dog. That's where my mind was going.
I was gonna say Colby, Rupert, and Stephenie.
I was thinking it was Colby, Rupert, Colleen.
I was thinking Colby, Rudy, Colleen, and Elizabeth, I think, are the Mount Rushmore. Like, those first two seasons are just so much bigger than the ones that come after them.
Yeah.
Like, just realistically. So, yeah. It does make me sad. I see a lot of people that are kind of tearing Colby down to prop Jerry up. And we love Jerry Manthe.
Yeah.
Oh, she was robbed of being on this cast.
Yeah, Jerry was very robbed of being on this cast.
She should be on this cast.
Yes.
It should be both of them together.
Yeah, it really should be. But we also have to remember, Colby was on the show many weeks after Jerry Manthe. And he was still very, very popular that whole time. I see a lot of people say he's only popular because of Jerry. And it's like, well, of course, Mark Burnett put Colby and Jerry on the same tribe thinking it was going to be an interesting dynamic. But Jerry left and Colby was still really fucking popular still.
Yeah.
We get 5 great episodes of Colby with no Jerry. I love Jerry. But
yeah, he's just so naturally charismatic. Like,
one of the greatest professionalists of all time. I mean, I could listen to him talk about losing his vote and
oh my god,
or journeys or the sanctuary. He's gonna sell the shit out of the sanctuary where good things happen. He's going to be awesome.
They let you let him ride a horse there.
Guys, I really cannot wait for Colby to go on a journey and lose his vote.
And then everybody on Twitter, is gonna be like, "Oh my god, guys, he sucks."
Jenna Lewis rolling her shot in the dark will be insane.
Colby Donaldson being a bearware advantage.
They're gonna complain that he's mean to Jenna Lewis.
I can't wait for the Colby confessional where he says, every time I play, it gets smaller and shorter.
He was on when the show was 42 days. That's insane.
He's going to say that, and they are not going to include it in the episode.
Very real.
The only person ever to play a 42, 39, and 26-day season.
Yeah, and him and Coach, the only people to play 16 players, 18 players, 20 players, and now 24 players.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
Colby, that's a man that's been through it all.
Yeah.
And now, kind of to pivot to how we think he'll do in the game.
I think
Yeah.
it's in production's interest to let Colby stick around, so he's probably gonna be on a tribe that does well. And I think Colby is going to be part of the reason why his tribe does well. I know people give him a lot of shit for heroes versus villains, but I think he cares. I think if he's coming back, he wants to be back. And
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I
and the
think he's
villains are a
embracing
I
strong
Shame now.
tribe. Like Rob, Coach, Tyson, Russell.
Russell when he's not throwing, yeah.
Yeah,
Parvati.
Russell when he's not
Russell's
throwing.
good too.
Parv, Danielle.
Yeah, and Coach has a few inches over Colby. Like Coach is a big guy. I think people forget that. So it's like when Colby lost that challenge to Coach, and they make fun of him and all that. It's like, well, yeah, like if you put them next to each other, I would think Coach would win in that particular challenge also.
Well, yeah, it's also because it's Coach.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like Coach is fun to make fun of, and Colby is like the greatest challenge competitor ever. But
Yeah. One thing I would say about Colby, his physical thing, is that on Heroes vs. Villains, he came in with like really low body fat, and like people and big muscly guys who come with super low body fat percentages tend to really suffer from the element out there. I have to assume that Colby is going to be smart and not do that this time. He'll come in kind of with a bit of fat, like kind of like Tony did in Wares of War, and I think
Or like Rob's move, yeah.
or like Rob, like pretty much all of his seasons after All Stars. Like I think he's going to be better prepared physically this time, and it's a 26-day season. I have to imagine physically he's going to be fine. And as y'all said, if he can produce the challenges, he should be good for a while. I hope.
We definitely
this might
voted
be
to give him all rice too. So
yeah, I mean, I'm very hopeful. Very hopeful.
Do we
think Colby will be miserable this time? Because kind of, he said in the past or whatever, he didn't realize how small the production Survivor became. Which, in all fairness, Samoa was the first season that I would consider like a small production, where they were very close to a city. They taped off areas of the beach that they can go on to. So it was a very short thing. It felt almost like a set instead of a wild island where you can go wherever you want. And I know that bummed him the fuck out.
Yeah, I haven't been able to find exactly where the islands they film on are, but I think most of them don't have people on them currently, or at least the camp islands don't have people on them.
The camp islands don't. The tribal island does, though.
Yeah, tribal island has so many people.
The thing with Colby is he's always talked about how he loves exploring and loves seeing the wilderness, and that's gonna help him on New Era, where like they're incentivized to explore the area around them to find advantages and stuff that could really benefit him if he's doing that.
Yeah, I think the most notable thing.
He cares.
Yeah, it's just, do we think do we think he has? Because again, I know we talk about like, oh, modern game, stupid, whatever. Like, it is a very different game than when he played. Do we think that A, he's going to be able to keep up with the modern gameplay, and B, if he were to get to the end of the game, would he be able to gain the respect of all of these very shallow-minded New Era jurors?
I think that
great question.
Like,
I think
is
that
Colby
because
Donaldson going to get Kamilla's jury vote?
I think that because Colby was willing to come back, it shows he is more invested in what's going on than we expected. And I think that this is a cast that is going to be partial to respect Colby as a human being.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of older people, a lot of stronger people, a lot of more conservative people relative to your average New Era season.
Yeah.
I do feel like ratings might fall off after Colby leaves, like genuinely. Like I feel like he might draw in a bunch of people that watched in Australian Outback, and that might lead to those people stopping watching whenever he goes out.
Well, he might just be the jury for the whole season. There are rumors that the jury stage is going to be starting immediately. So
I don't buy it. I don't
21 jurors.
I mean, if they did it with Winners of War, I wouldn't see why they wouldn't do it here.
I agree.
Anyway,
they'll find an excuse. They're geniuses of the Survivor count.
Yeah. Anyways, we do gotta kind of speed it up. So, are we going? Colby is a possible winner pick.
He's gonna
not a winner, but
I'm not going to do that.
I think I hope. It's a lot of hope. I want Colby to win.
He's the best theoretical winner. I don't see it happening. But I would really hope he's there, and I think he has a better shot. Something else you mentioned earlier about Colby trying to stay in with the pace of the new era and all that fun stuff that comes with that. I don't know if he will for sure, but to Colby's credit, I think he has one of the sharpest minds when it comes to assessing the dynamics of a group of people, even in seasons where he's not particularly doing well all the time, like Heroes versus Villains or even All Stars. Like I think Colby had his finger on the pulse of what was happening in the dynamics of the group. I don't know if he'll, care about who has this advantage and cancels this out. But I think Colby has a better natural sense and read of a dynamic of a group of people than he gets credit for.
Like I've always said that people give Colby too much crap for Heroes versus Villains. Like he didn't play amazingly or anything, but I think he did have a lot more stronger moments that people will ever give him credit for on that season.
Yeah, I think he mostly just got screwed over by a pregame alliance.
Yeah, mostly that. And come the finale, he's really the only person that stands a chance of winning other than Sandra, honestly.
Oh yeah. All right, so we ready to set our verdict on Colby is we have hope.
Please win.
Please win, Colby.
So,
I'm draping myself in the Texas flag every Wednesday.
Next up, from the season before that, we have Jenna Lewis Doherty from Borneo and All Stars.
Insane to
fine.
You're missing her third appearance in her sex tape.
Or her appearance in the Without Me music video, which is far more important.
Yeah, her and Lindsay Richter.
Her and Lindsay Richter.
Mm-hmm. Such a wow! I'm
amazed
to see this.
We're getting Jenna Lewis back. Look, I'm probably the lowest on Jenna Lewis on All Stars. Jenna Lewis, anyone here? I really, really, really do not like Jenna Lewis on All Stars, and like I'm not sure if she's gonna bring anything new here. But the fact that she's on is like kind of objectively cool. Like Jenna's moment with the videotapes in Borneo is like one of Survivor's first iconic moments, and she's back like 25 years later. Her kids are now older than she was on Borneo. Her kids that didn't send her the video are now older than she was on Borneo. That's like, there are things, it's really cool. The fact that we have someone from Borneo on this season is cool. I just wish it wasn't Jenna Lewis, is pretty much my take on Jenna Lewis.
I think the other thing with like
that really quick. Let me just put in a quick counter. I think another element to All Stars Jenna Lewis is her being the Pagong. And at the time, a lot of the online fans and a lot of fans that were like, oh, Pagong sucks at Survivor. Pagong didn't play the game, this, and that. So she came in with a huge edge on her shoulder. And I think that did really affect her and made her, take the easy way out and do let's just get rid of all the winners. And plus her ex-boyfriend was on the tribe and he was a winner, so you gotta shove it in his face a little bit.
Ethan was not the only person that was an ex-girlfriend of Ethan Zahn on that season.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I forgot what I was going to I mean, in terms of targeting all the winners, I mean, Jenna's not gonna have a hard time doing that this time, and it's not gonna, it's not like we're losing Ethan or Tina, or it's like Kyle.
Jenna.
Rizgod. Spoiler alert.
Maybe, possibly, we don't know.
Yeah. By the way, complete disclosure: we have no spoiler for 49. Like, we have no ideas. That was a complete joke.
Yeah,
all theorized.
It seems likely that one of them won.
We're assuming because probably we're also assuming 3 tribes, 1 winner each tribe. So who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah,
I think.
Oh my god, if Rizgod is the first boot because of Jenna Lewis, then I think that 50 might
take everything negative I said about Jenna Lewis if she manages
instant end game.
Jenna Lewis 2.0 is now a 10 out of 10, I think.
Yeah.
If she votes out Rizgod first.
Yeah, because I was gonna say because like Jenna wouldn't have been like my first Borneo pick, but I think she was always gonna be the most realistic pick because you have to have somebody from Borneo on this season.
That's fair.
And she's the youngest, right? Is she the youngest casting in Borneo? Yeah. So
her and Kelly were both 22 on Borneo, I think.
Jenna's 22 too.
She was like 23.
No, Colleen's 23, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Dirk was also 23.
Yeah, no, and I think the other thing is that even though she was on like the oldest season and all that, she can definitely still have a lot of game skill. I think she'll be fine out there.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, like
And
I
that's
Mark Burnett
personality.
casted
Yeah.
her. Like, if you read Mark Burnett's book about the first Survivor season, he casted Jenna Lewis expecting her to be the most cutthroat person there. Like, he thought Jenna Lewis was a total gamer, was going to totally just cut people's throats left and right. And that's not what we ended up getting. But that's something he thought would happen. So I think there's a side of that still there. And some of that came out in All Stars.
Yeah, she has it in her.
She got the dog in her for sure.
I think that going into this season, Jenna is going to play very, very aggressively, and I don't necessarily know if that gets her that close to a win. Like I see early jury for Jenna.
Yeah. Something notable to point out: she is the only player here who has not had to play with a hidden immunity idol before.
That's true. Yeah.
But I guess we'll see how the fuck that works.
Jenna Lewis is really gonna lose her vote, man. That's
Jenna's gonna play the dice. Jenna's gonna play the dice game from 48 on the journey, and then lose her vote that way.
Real quick, I do want to point out something about the cast reveal that proves how washed Jeff Probst is. He did not say J for Jenna when he did the cast reveal. Like, how do you not do that? That is like your best moment as a host, like maybe ever.
True.
And you did not do it. And that was she was the first one revealed. Like, you could remember that to start. You know, that is the perfect start to that cast reveal, and they didn't do it. So,
one thing I'll note is that we've seen a lot of a lot of interview clips of Jenna floating around since her name into contention, all of which she's being a huge bitch in, and I think that's a great sign for her as a character.
Oh yeah,
Pat Shane, say that you'd kill yourself before talking to Sheehan again. Say you'd ban gun control so that you could shoot yourself before talking to Sheehan again.
That's so raw. That
I'm
goes
a
so
Democrat. I'm for gun control, but I would ban gun control and put a gun in my mouth if I ever have to hear Sheehan talk. Like, oh my god, what? Why have we waited so long to see her a third time?
Was this what she, wait? Was this what she said on? Was this what she said on Fair Play's podcast or something?
Yes, she said that on Fair Play's podcast.
All right. I think probably like an early juror is the best
jury.
hope for Jenna Lewis.
Early juror seems fair.
First move,
I agree.
Yeah, and I think
every episode we get.
But I think in terms of character, she does actually have a very high ceiling.
Yeah,
she could be the star.
She could.
The original Jenna Lewis is an amazing character, even if she's like 8th in Borneo.
It's Borneo.
Yeah.
Dude.
Borneo. I mean, we're all right on Borneo.
Yeah. All right. We gotta speed this up. Next, we have jumping from a bunch of old school picks all the way to the most recent third placer, Joe from Survivor 48.
Our second runner-up.
That's a weird photo of Joe. That's a very weird photo.
Yeah, that second photo is something else right now.
That's not true.
I know, that's why I picked it.
I will say right off the bat, I think just this group of people is more positive on Joe than most the internet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, not even close.
Joe is so good.
Great. Best character on the season, pretty clearly.
Yeah,
he's awesome.
I think bringing him back is probably an inferior version of bringing Mike Turner back, but he's still a good choice.
I think he'll be fun. I don't really have much to say about Joe. We just saw him. He'll probably be the we just saw.
I think with Joe, he's great. I think he's great at 48, but I am worried that the dynamics of 48 just make him better. Like the fact that he had so many people around him who he could like play off really well. Like even on like Kyle, especially like David. Like he had people who like you just kind of made him better and who he improved. I'm just not seeing that with a group like this, which is just gonna have a lot of gamers. The honor integrity thing, I don't think it's gonna go anywhere here.
There are
I don't know if I agree with that.
I just don't think it's gonna be interesting from a character perspective, is why I'm saying. Like from a character perspective, that stuff is great on 48. I don't think it's gonna like really do anything here with this group. I think in terms of player, right, he'll be fine. I think Kyle and Kamilla are going to be way bigger targets than him. Again, I think if one of them gets voted out first, then he's probably in a good spot for a while. But I don't have especially high hopes for Joe here. But I think he has a pretty high floor as well. He'll be fine.
See, what I was going to say is that I think there's a very good chance that if Joe gets the right tribe, then that honor and integrity thing could actually play a pretty big role on that tribe if he has the right people on the starting tribe.
I do think he
Coach,
probably will.
Ozzy,
Stephenie,
Jonathan, Stephenie, Colby, Q. Yeah.
I think he'll probably let off the gas a little bit on the honor and integrity thing, because from what I've heard about the post show from 48, that is why he lost. That's killed his jury chances. So it's not
even hypocrisy, just that he was saying it at all. But he also believes in this as a moral thing, and I think that does matter to him.
Yeah, that matters. Because the other thing is, it's like the other thing is like that, as we said, there's a lot more of those people on that cast that actually believe it. With the 48 people, there was really only like Eva, Kyle, believe that. And most of the people on the jury didn't really believe that, aside from like David, who got screwed over, who got betrayed by him,
and Cedric apparently. Shout out
to Cedric.
Shout out to the butt doctor.
I think something about Joe's casting that I do really admire that we did hit on is this is a man with strong morals, and his sense of self and morals seem to be very strong, and there's lines he won't cross, and I think that is I think that's a really good sign of someone cast. I feel like that's something they used to look for, are people that were these characters that knew themselves really well, and they wouldn't get pushed around, and they have to struggle with selling out their values for money. And so that's why I think Joe is a good cast, because he brings us back to people that were like that. Well, nowadays, a lot of people just see it as the default. Like, oh, if you're on Survivor, you got to play like this. So I'm happy to see Joe.
Yeah.
So I think he's another high variance player like Chrissy.
Yeah, I could see it. I don't think he's going like super early. Like at earliest, he'd go later in the pre-merge, but I don't think he even makes it to. I think he would get anywhere from like 5th to 15th.
Yeah,
I assume he is the 48 that goes the furthest, but like, who knows?
Probably, I think the other two are pretty.
But also, 48th that goes the furthest is like being the tallest little person.
Yeah, they could all be pre-merge. Like, it's very possible.
Kyle and Kamilla are cooked.
Mm-hmm.
I do feel like Joe does make it to the merge, but he probably goes out the moment the merge hits.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to be able to be the immunities guy when Jonathan's around.
Yeah, it's either going to be him or Jonathan that like is the immediate merge target.
Yeah.
Luckily, I think Jonathan is, even though he is probably a worse challenge competitor than Joe, I think he is going to seem scarier in challenges.
Yeah, just because Jonathan is way scarier looking. Like, Joe is kind of a cinnamon roll, and like he's awesome and he's lovable, and Jonathan is kind of racist.
Not a very nice person a lot.
Yo, that means Mike White's gonna throw Final Tribal Council to Jonathan. Is that not here?
Yeah, all right. We do kind of have to like speed this.
No,
up.
yeah, of course.
Already, like,
I figured that we'd have more to say about the people.
Yeah, I think we have a lot more to say about Joe.
Yeah,
we'll do.
Once we get to the younger people, that'll go faster.
Yeah, all right. So, not speaking of that, we have for the first time since Heroes vs Villains, Stephenie LaGrossa.
Yo, okay.
She was fun on Traders.
I feel like I would be more hyped for Stephenie if we hadn't been seeing her all over the reality show circuit the last couple years.
Mm-hmm.
See, I actually kind of disagree. Like, as Mana said, like, Stephenie was actually really fun on Traders. And here's the thing. For those who don't, everyone in this podcast knows, Palau is my favorite season. I am a massive Palau stan. Stephenie is a big part of that. But I've always kind of wondered if Steph being Graham Palau was mostly just because she was in the perfect situation to make her as interesting of a character as possible. Because I wasn't especially fascinated by her on Guatemala, and I think she is the definition of mediocre on Heroes vs. Villains. But I actually really liked her on the trailers, and it kind of shows like her inherent personality and why she got cast. And I think she's a very cool choice to bring back for a season like this. And yeah, like I said, as I said at the beginning of this, I could not be more excited for a 74.0.
Yeah, I'm rewatching Palau right now, and she's like super compelling as a speaker, even if you ignore that she's in such a perfect position for her story.
Yeah, I mean,
she's
it's
she is a great personality. Don't get me wrong. She's one of the best characters we have ever seen. It's just I think the fact that I knew she was in contention means her suddenly showing up is a lot less exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and her being on 50 has been telegraphed for years. We kind of knew, even at the time of 42. It's okay. If they're doing returnees for 50, Stephenie's probably there.
Yeah, in January or whatever, I was making predictions, and it was oh, we're gonna get all new era, and then we're gonna get Christian, Angelina, Devins, Dominic, and then old schoolers Cirie and Steph.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I will also say that I think the biggest sign for Stephenie most likely that's going to happen on this season is if you watch the Traders, you will know how terribly strategically she played on that season, and I think everybody can agree Stephenie is pretty easily going to be an early boot.
Yeah, I'm thinking pre-merge, hopefully flame out, and not Bianca from last season where she just goes really quietly.
I hate saying
she loses her vote or something.
Stuff.
She's not gonna win.
It's not gonna stick around.
But I feel like Stephenie ends up being a forgotten, oh, she's there. They barely show her. She gets 12 confessionals, and then she goes out
Oh no,
episode 4.
she's gonna be she's gonna be like Danny Boatwright 2.0, isn't she?
No.
Oh, please no. My
This is the
Palau
bottom
Stan
line
heart can't
finalist.
take it.
I feel like Stephenie is just way too big of a personality to
Yeah, Stephenie is a much bigger personality than Danny.
Yeah.
No shade.
I love
Yeah,
Danny.
she'll,
I love Danny.
So
yeah, I
further
can't wait
thoughts
for
on Stephenie.
I can't wait for her to call Charlie gay.
Like in Taylor Swift. Something about Stephenie also is if by all miracles she makes it to that final vote, is anyone voting for Stephenie?
No,
someone
She's
that
a zero finalist. Stephenie is not winning Jerville.
Yeah, she could play the greatest game ever, but she's married to an MLB player who does not have a job.
She's also Stephenie LaGrossa.
She's also just not good at reading. She's also just not good at managing her relationships.
Yeah,
exactly.
One of the worst final tribal councils ever is her in Guatemala. She is a train wreck in Guatemala's final tribal council.
First juror.
Yeah. Her awful answer to.
I voted you out because you were lame and stupid, and I didn't respect you.
Awesome.
She says,
she's so real.
Who everyone loved and respected.
That's awesome. But yeah, I don't anticipate her to stick around, but I think she'll bring it when she's there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think mid to late pre-merge.
Yeah. All right, who's next?
All right.
Boy!
Great voter choice.
That Playboy shirt, man. What is this? Nah. What is that? What is that face expression he's doing?
I've seen a lot of people saying that the best possible winner for the season is Colby or Stephenie. These are the circles I'm in. Of course, I'm sure there's plenty of people saying it's Kamilla or whatever.
Yeah,
but I think Ozzy would be an incredible winner.
Ozzy winning.
He's
not a very good player.
No.
He's probably not a very good guy, based on what I've heard of his personal life. And he would just win by winning every immunity. And that's what I want to see.
I would be hyped for that.
We need to have someone who does that. No one has ever managed to really do that.
And who's the one person who is one immunity win away from winning every immunity? Fucking Ozzy.
It was
Ozzy.
He probably was screwed over just as much as Chrissy.
Yeah,
with the change to the final three, probably screwed over more. Yeah, because
there's no guarantee that Chrissy beats Ryan and Devin. Those are two stiff competitors. So I find it hard to imagine Ozzy's losing to Becky. No shade to Becky. I'm sure she's lovely, but
Probably, almost certainly
She's a
the
big
objective best
personality.
person of that final 3 is Becky.
Yeah, for sure. Becky seems
Top
like
2 are the most.
Becky
Becky is not a monster.
she's not going to give you an STD. She's not going to steal your data. So
do good
As far
things.
as we know.
give you
far
an
as we
STD on
know.
purpose. for it.
Hasn't come out.
Eliza, if you're listening, get your Patreon article for Becky ready. I'm ready to hear the dirt. I will give you
A
the
Becky
$100
tier.
tier.
Okay, so Oz. All right, I was gonna say Ozzy is another Ozzy is another legitimate legend on this cast. Like for all we're joking, Ozzy is like another legend. Like people really love Ozzy. Like he was cast on the first Fans vs Favorites for a reason. People really like Ozzy. And I myself think that Ozzy has some really fun moments across his first 3 seasons. Mostly in South Pacific, where he's like a legitimately compelling character. But in Micro, he's the one who made the fucking stick. On Cook Islands, he said 420 and smiled like a doofus. Like he's a fun personality.
He also said the mutineers are the first to die.
That goes hard.
He's a legitimately fun personality. Like for
Yeah,
as much
I'm an
as we're
Ozzy
shitting on him.
enjoyer. I love Ozzy. Not as a person, he's a terrible person, but as a personality, I think he is one of the best. Especially if you ignore the people who actually got to be great characters.
Yeah, I think that if you are, I think if you're one of the people who thinks Ozzy's going to be boring, I think you are in for an exciting surprise with Ozzy on season 50.
My counter argument for that is Game Changers is a thing. Like the fact that he's just not in the show in Game Changers. I could so very easily see that happening here because there's no way that Probst wanted him. There's Jeff. I don't think Jeff has wanted him on a single season since Micro. I think he's a very, very good chance to get purple. Like I think of anyone this season, Ozzy has really high purpling potential.
Visibility is erratic on this season. Like everyone's gonna get purpled for a bit, I think.
Yeah. I mean, also with 90-minute episodes, people are just going to be getting more screen time now.
Yeah, but 24 people.
Yeah, it balances out, I guess.
Yeah, because you're gonna get because with 24 people, you're only really gonna have time for half the cast, really. If to be completely honest.
Although, who knows what they're gonna do in terms of runtime on 50?
Yeah, maybe they'll
right for 2-hour episodes, y'all.
Yeah,
on Wednesday and Thursday.
Literally Australian Survivor now.
Is there a chance that this is the first season where Ozzy goes before the merge?
No, because technically he gets voted out before the merge on South Pacific.
Fair point. Great
claims. If the double tribal every pre-merge round thing is the case, I can't imagine a tribe is willing to risk voting out Ozzy.
He's just too good at challenges. Like in Game Changers, he was great at those team challenges.
Yeah, he is one of the greatest challenge in Cook Islands. Like that in Cook Islands, he moves through challenges in a way no one else does. Like no one else has ever engaged me by being good at challenges the way Ozzy does.
Yeah.
I mean, on Game
he was the most interesting part in Cook Islands was watching him swim in the challenges.
He's mesmerizing.
Him and Cowboy,
But here's the thing: is a 45-year-old Ozzy
42?
No,
a little.
I
bit.
don't think so. He seems like
he's still doing porn, so like. I
right.
He can get it up. He has endurance.
You know what?
Who knows what kind of blue pills he's been taking, though. I hope they let him have it on the island.
Yeah. I think that
Blue Chew Ozzy 5.0.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that
for the season.
Yeah, I think my final prediction for Ozzy mainly, I think it's gonna be probably I'm gonna say probably the very last pre-merge boot.
I can see it. I can see that.
Yeah, that's a good time to vote him off.
I can see that.
Yeah, I see it.
All right, so. Oh no!
The funny anchor man.
Everyone's favorite newscaster.
It's my friend's uncle.
I think he's going to do exactly as good as he did on Edge of Extinction. He's going to be voted out 4th.
Yeah, I struggle to see a long time in the game for Rick Devens. I like the guy. I think he could be a great character if he doesn't have all of the screen time of the season. But he is in a rough situation where he is a big threat that isn't a good player. And
Yeah, no, like any that. Like people try to argue that Rick Devens was a good player. No, he wasn't. Like he got voted out 4th.
No.
Come on, guys.
He
Devens
gets a
goes
little bit
out.
swapped, but I'll give him something there.
He's still got
He swaps the majority.
He swapped with every member of his original tribe. Him being
Yeah,
in a bad
but they
position there was
lost,
because he was
yeah.
bad on his is because he was in a bad position on his original tribe. Without
Yeah,
the
he was-
swap, if there's no swap, he probably goes home like after Wendy anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he would have been voted out 5th if there wasn't the swap.
Exactly.
Also, yeah, I think we talked about this before the podcast. There's like 8 rounds of Edge of Extinction where Rick Devens either gets voted out, has immunity, or plays an idol. So
yeah,
it's pretty,
it's a lot of rounds where like Rick is
a
safe.
lot of rounds where he
And like
doesn't
most
do
of the rounds where Rick has immunity, he was dead if he didn't.
Yeah, I really struggle to see a long stay in the game for Rick Devens.
Yeah,
I will say the best players are the ones that can get production to change the game for them. So
Production
was Rick Devens.
Most
in that
likely to
sense,
be handed
maybe
an
Rick
idol.
Devens could help.
Devens gets production to expel the entire cast.
I
hey,
do think if you ask Jeff
Yeah.
Probst who he wants to win the most, I think he would say Rick, which might help Rick out a little bit, but
Keep
Yeah.
in mind
Yeah.
that the original plan for Survivor 41 was having a fire token shop run by Rick Devens.
And Mike
Production
White saved us from
really
it.
likes Rick Devens.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
really fail to see how Rick Devens can get anywhere past like 3rd boot at most.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
He's gone. He's out.
he's cooked.
Here I as much low as I am, I'm about to potentially defend Rick Devens' chance of doing kind of okay in the season. Yes, Rick is a big threat, but he's not going to be the biggest threat coming into the season, especially with 48 people, with some of the bigger new era people. Like I do think that Rick, yes, he's a bit like I say, he's a big threat, but he's playing in with probably some sort of like pregame connections, like with the other people in the 30s.
Yes, this is true.
I don't think he made any pregame alliances. He did we never heard Rick Devens' name in from the leakers.
That's fair. We just kind of assume
than-
because Rick Devens has been a lock for the next returning season. He's been eligible for it since Edge. But like I said, I think that he has potential to be. He's pretty good at challenges. He might be able to get past the rounds of he might get. I think he has a chance to make the merge. Once he makes merge, he's probably cooked because, as y'all have said, Rick Devens is not a good Survivor player. He will inevitably put his foot in his mouth. He's too big. He's gonna be too big of a target. But I do think Rick has legitimate potential to make the merge. Is what I'm gonna say.
I wouldn't be upset. I like him. I think he's a good
and I hate
Too
Rick
time.
on Edge. I just hope he doesn't get over edit. If he gets a normal edit, I will really enjoy Rick Devens super.
Yeah.
Rick has the problem where he knows too much about TV, kind of like Mike White, where Rick's career is to fucking talk to a camera every day, and be a TV personality, which good for him, but that's just not a thing I like in Survivors a lot of the times. I like a more raw feeling, and he doesn't do that for me.
I agree. I think we're past Survivor feeling raw, though, more or less. So
Good point.
I'll take a fun confessionalist, even if he's a little over prepared.
Yeah.
All right, so group verdict on Devens.
Doomed.
Mostly cooked.
Good luck,
yeah.
buddy.
He's done.
Cooked.
He's done.
Yeah. Pray to Jeff.
Yep.
Rest in peace.
Oh Lord.
Gosh,
oh,
I keep forgetting.
God.
It's like I've known this cast for so long. I keep forgetting some of these people.
Facts.
Our actual favorite Edge of Extinction, Castaway.
Kyle, you want to start this off?
What do you mean? This isn't key.
I'm probably the only one here who didn't love Aubry on Go Wrong. I get the appeal. I think she's too into the metaphors, which I think people are very tired of at this point. When you get, every Shaheen bit of Tribal Council where he's talking about how survivors sniffing your butts or whatever. I think you could trace that all back to Miss Aubry Brock over here. And
Okay.
I am terrified to see her on 50.
She has potential to be the worst of all time.
Even further than on Edge of Extinction. Because every
I
time
think
it's diminishing returns, can she diminish
Yeah.
even more?
I think
Because
he-
Edge of Extinction is like a mean-spirited parody of Aubry.
I know.
Yeah.
I also think that they're going to do the obvious great bit of putting her on the same tribe as Q. And I think that will probably lead to Aubrey Bracco, the first boot of Survivor 50.
Oh
Oh
my
God,
god.
yeah,
hope.
no, we
We can
haven't.
only
I've
hope.
never,
There's
I never
potential.
thought about that before, but yeah, no, because Q took out Mariah because, oh my
Being a
God,
fan.
she said Aubrey was her favorite player. She needs to go.
Dude, that's
Honestly,
that's a very funny
That's
thing.
raw.
I,
That
Aubrey's
that is
Oh,
the
yeah,
best
no.
bit of
I
game
think
plan.
Aubrey- I
Actually
think
fumbled
Aubrey's
by
so
not
cooked
putting them
here.
on the same tribe at first,
Yeah.
but
I
I think she's another one who I would say is dead to rights. And she
I
doesn't
will
even
give one
that.
alternative theory on Aubrey is after Edge of Extinction. I know that season just kind of fried her brain, and she had a couple bad podcast appearances where a lot of fans really turned on her, and maybe she's crazy now. maybe. So
Maybe.
I think in a best case scenario, her brain is still fried from Edge of Extinction.
Are you saying we have
Maybe.
Ryman Bledsoe upside here?
Oh, yeah.
Man.
Yeah,
Oh,
maybe she's the
don't see
closest
Ryman.
we can get to Spencer 3.0.
Damn, soon enough,
Maybe.
Aubrey's
Yeah,
gonna change her
But I
name
think it's much
to,
more likely we're going to get Spencer 2.0.
yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe after this season, Aubrey will be found doing ayahuasca in Ecuador.
I'm just so
just like
wrong.
this podcast right now is taking place in Ecuador. Just for y'all
Everyone
listening at
else
home.
right
Ryman
now.
mean,
live.
friend of the show, friend of the pod.
Ryman Bledsoe. Yeah.
Friend of the pod.
I support everything Ryman has ever said about all political issues. Quote me on that.
I think we can
Will
all
do.
that everything he's said, which I don't really know what he said, but everything he said, we agree with.
Well, yeah, no, he said, yeah, he says a lot of freaking stuff about like, oh my God, I needed to leave the U.S. because I couldn't handle getting the vaccine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Ryman's
Why
like,
wants to leave
he's
the
a
US?
huge he's
Not
a
all the other
huge
shit.
anti-vaxxer now. Huge anti-vaxxer, huge. He went off the deep end.
and he was
But
in the
this is
running
about
for
Aubrey,
50.
not
You wouldn't have
Spence.
had
No,
to
Ryman.
Yeah, we're getting off.
To
My
be on the
apologies
damn
for bringing
show.
Ryman up. This is my bad.
Can we move on? I don't
We
like
can.
looking at her face.
Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Okay,
Aubrey.
okay.
Sick of Aubrey.
Short, making
So
things
sick of
short.
Aubrey.
Making things short for a second. Aubrey, early boot, pretty easily. Moving on.
She's cooked.
Yeah.
She's cooked.
Yeah,
I hope
she's
so.
cooked. She's cooked.
Next.
You went far
I
in
hope
Game
she's
Changers for
cooked.
some reason, though.
I
So
hope
who the fuck
I
knows?
hope she's cooked. If she's not cooked, God help us all.
Hey.
Hey,
Better by
Ooh.
default.
How
Yeah.
much has Christian
He
aged?
was really good on Korong.
Oh yeah, Christian Hubicki was definitely on Korong. Yes.
Fran's tribe, right?
And
Yeah.
One Wrong character, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool they brought back the 75-year-old from Korong.
I think Joe Dowdle looks really different and changed his name. Not Joe
I mean, we
Dowdle.
don't know.
Joe Dowdle.
No, Del
No,
Campo.
I thought that was a bit Joe Del Campo.
Joe Dowdle Campo.
This is actually Peter Bagginstos.
Everything
We
I
all
said about
know
Rick Devens, I think, is
thought-
true about Christian.
I thought
He-
you were
yeah.
gonna.
The unfortunate combination of a big threat and a bad player.
I will say, unlike Devins, Christian does at least have a couple of like connections here with Angelina and Mike White, and I think that there's potential for him to like Hunter, because on Day vs. Goliath he was his two shred because he did that puzzle right away. And yes, people know that Christian is smart, but I mean, really, like, are you really taking him out early over?
Yeah, I
like,
think
Kyle and
Christian's-
Kamilla.
Christian's definitely a much smaller threat and a much better player than Rick. So I think he's less doomed, but I still struggle to see him winning.
I think
Yeah,
I do think
I
that
think a
he's
lot
going
of
to have the
Christian
issue they had
can
Day vs. Goliath, where
disappointed.
where people have to try to get him out like from the merge onwards, and
Yeah.
inevitably one of those hits is going to land.
He's
Yeah,
just
I
still
think
going to be
people-
one of those guys that you can't not vote for. He's just too lovable. So when you
Yeah.
get to final tribal council, like obviously everyone's going to vote for him, and everyone knows that. So he's
And he's
Huh.
not good enough at Survivor to manipulate it to not do that.
He's a great idol finder, I will say. And kind of like Devin, great idol finder.
Yeah.
For as much
Interesting how
idol
the
finding
Christian
is a
Great idol
skill,
finders on the
he's good
cast.
at it.
No, I
another
don't
point
think
about
well,
another point about Christian is I do feel like people kind of hold him up, and I bet like a lot of these new eras kind of hold him up as kind of like the OG in a way. like, which is silly to say, but like I think a lot of people will have this inherent respect for him, and he seems like just like a cool guy, and it's hard to vote off a cool guy. Like,
yeah, that'd be true. At the end of the day,
so,
if I'm on that season and I like hanging out with Christian, I'm not going to be like, well, you could vote him out one round later. You know
so
what
I
I mean?
think he's probably locked into the merge, but I don't think he makes it farther.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
probably going to be like that. I imagine.
I agree.
Early merge is my prediction for Christian.
Christian makes it decently deep, but I don't think he makes it super far. I feel like he's likable enough to coast by, but I don't think he has the threat management.
Yeah, I think he's
I
gonna.
don't.
Yeah,
I
I don't really
think
have much
you-
else to add there.
Yeah,
I would-
you know, the tallest nail gets hammered down on a lot of the
If-
returning seasons. I think it's going to come to a point where he's like, all right, he's got to go.
Yeah, if we're lucky, he'll go relatively quickly, but I don't think
I
we're
think
as lucky.
he's a solid personality. I think his issue on David versus Goliath is more the storytelling of the season, kind of losing him. I could
Like,
imagine.
yeah,
Really
where
They don't
every
even
episode
give him a
is
real
will
good-
Christian go?
Like he's barely in his boot episode. For
Yeah, that's
some
the
reason.
issue for me. It's like, what?
Yeah,
I
every
thought this
episode
was
is will
main
Christian
character.
go, and then we don't see him in his good episode. So
Yeah, it's
Great.
because they got me good. We don't need to talk about one match of extinctions, kind of.
But yeah,
yeah,
Yeah. All right.
So-
So Christian and not looking great.
yeah,
No,
not looking
no,
too
I
great,
don't
but better than some other people.
yep.
All right.
Salute you, buddy.
All right, I'll say this before anyone else does. I think Angelina will. I think she's gonna win. She's my winner pick. I've been saying since like 43. When they do a returning season, if Angelina's on it, she's going to be the perfect combination of not big a threat, but actually good at the game. And I think she could win the season. I think she's smart enough to look at why she lost, much like Chrissy, and you know she's going to adapt to that. I think she could pull it out.
I just say
Angelina
that is
is
the most
also
insanely
beautiful.
blurry picture I've ever seen. What the?
And she is still just
Yeah,
like
it's an-
super
it's an-
duper cute. Like,
I
look at
feel
that.
like Angelina is not going to be taken seriously. I feel like nobody's going to take Angelina seriously, and then inevitably she's going to be rewritten as like a Survivor great in the Survivor mythos.
It's almost like Tony 3.0 in a way, where like, you know, even though like, you know, of course Tony was really good at one point, but you know, that third time around, no one really took him seriously, and then they were like, oh, wait a sec, you're actually
Yeah.
pretty solid. And by the time it was time to take him seriously, he was already well into the game. So
Yeah, I think we could end up with Angelina Keeley as a winner of Survivor.
Yeah,
I
I
think
think
that
she's
would
gonna be a good character. As good as 50 can get, I think she's gonna be good. She's you know, charismatic presence.
I'm expecting kind of a cast 2.0 thing with her, where she chills out because she wants to win, which makes for a lot less fun.
Yeah,
But,
I
yeah.
agree.
She's still Angelina.
I think
I think she has a pretty high floor.
I don't know.
yeah, she does have pretty eyes. I do agree.
Funky
Okay.
just has a crush. He's rooting for he's rooting for her to leave her husband.
He wants to be
Yeah,
the John Hennigan.
I'm ready. I'm actually gonna be the Keith Tolopoulos or whatever his last name is, and she's gonna leave her husband for me. It'll be cool.
Oh, Keith Tolliston. Oh, that's deep cut.
Yeah.
I actually don't.
Smart.
I actually think Angelina is probably an early out, just because I feel like, you know, does she know why she lost the first time? Yeah, but like that, her losing, just like the complete lack of any sort of self-awareness. I think she's gonna come into the season being like, I'm so self-aware now, and she's just still not, and it'll just like screw her over early on.
Yeah, no, like
The thing that
I
I
kind
think-
of question whether or not Angelina she definitely has awareness of her presence as a meme by the fan base. So I'm not sure how much she will play into that or not, or if she'll just completely mellow out and see if she can actually do the serious stuff in order to get her an actual win.
Something
Yeah, I
that
think
makes
she'll
me
be
more
more
hopeful with
Doesn't
Angelina
play
than
into
like,
it
yeah,
because
something that makes
as much as I love Angelina, because I might actually be the highest on Angelina in this group. I don't think that like fandom jokes about Angelina are like.
Hello?
did a mic cut out?
Yeah.
Probably.
Okay, well that happens. I'll give my Angelina thing. I think what makes me think Angelina will do better than someone like a Chrissy is, Chrissy's just older in the sense, and like I hate saying it, but a lot of older people are more set in their ways. Like
Oh
Angelina
my God,
was
what?
in her 20s that first time, I believe, and now she is 35. And I think you
Mhm.
can grow and look back better,
Yeah.
And I think she's been a mother now too, right?
Mhm.
Was she in her 20s? I thought she was
So
like 30.
She was like 27, 28.
28, yeah.
so
Yeah, she was late 20s. Yeah, because
she's had some major life events that do change a person. So I could see her looking back and actually changing and being a little bit more self-aware
Yeah.
because
I think
just where that lands.
Yeah, I would agree.
I can see it, but I feel like late pre-merge.
I really hope she does well. I will say, like, as with people like Colby, I do really hope that Angelina does well.
yeah, I'm excited for Angelina 2.0.
Yeah, Angelina 2.0, it's one of those things that, like, it's been kind of a known thing that Angelina was going to be probably on the next All Returnee season. She was eligible, or like just like Rick Devens, and it's cool that we're actually finally getting it.
Yeah, she's super fun on David versus Goliath.
Great, yeah,
Very
really
Stephenie
great.
on her back.
Yeah, she should be able to provide something.
Let's hope
I
that.
don't like the ending of David versus Goliath. Like I think the finale and the last couple episodes are like pretty mid, but she's great in them. Like she does the most she can to make
She's
them
great, yeah.
interesting episodes.
I'd agree with
Yeah.
that.
You can feel her 17 confessionals in, but like, what else are you spending the finale on?
Yeah, I'd
Yeah.
rather have 17
Yeah.
Angelina confessionals than however many Nick gets.
Or however many Kara gets.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, like
however many
Kara
Allison
K,
gets.
like, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
exactly.
Allison probably gets
Yeah.
like one, so I don't really.
Allison
Yeah.
probably gets a couple.
All right. Allison's mom, do you have any opinions? You
Anyways,
calling out?
next up,
Angelina, I'm Angelina. I'm Allison's mom. Angelina's actually the worst person ever. Okay.
yeah, anyways,
Let's go on.
what
Allison
the
gets
hell?
four,
What
yeah.
the hell is a polar bear doing in Arlington, Texas?
All right, I do have a theory. I feel like this might be one of those casting choices where if you bring Q back, bring someone that has beef with Q back,
That's-
kind of like
Yeah.
Philip Francesca kind of thing. Even though, like, why is Francesca here? But
That's they
Surely
literally
there are
brought
other
Tiffany
better
back
people
because
who
she
had
hates
beef with Q. The whole
Yeah,
cast of 46
The
had
whole
beef
cast
with
of
Q.
46, and then we get
I
Tiffany.
would say Venus would be the pick, but I'm
Venus
not
would
yeah,
be
close
I
to
do
Tiffany.
think Banu should have been the pick, but
Banu should
oh my
have
god,
been
he
good.
already
Banu.
won the million
Oh
hearts.
yeah, Banu.
Or Liz, honestly.
No.
Tiffany kind of feels like the Parvati of the season, where
Sorry.
she's the random kind of forgettable woman that gets brought
Yeah,
back.
I've
She
seen a
might
lot
have
of people saying
she's
she
the
could.
winner pick, I think.
Yeah,
Her
I
and
can very
Tiffany.
easily see Tiffany winning this season.
yeah.
I don't
Well,
know.
something that kind of hurt her the last season was the hidden immunity idol, right? Like that was kind of a big part of her story, and that's why a big reason I wasn't as big on Tiffany as other people. We saw her personality, I really liked her, but so much of her content was about her idol and everyone knowing she has an idol, and this, and that.
Yeah.
So maybe if she has the fortune to not be burdened with that content, I'll like her more, and maybe she'd actually be able to play a little bit better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
definitely don't think she was like a great player. Obviously, she got 8.
I think she's got a deep run in her, though. I'd be
Definitely.
surprised if she goes out early. I can't see anybody, looking at like, oh, who do I vote out, D or
Yeah.
Tiffany? And picking Tiffany.
she's-
No shade to Tiffany, but like she
she's-
just
Yeah.
isn't the threat some of these people are.
She's
Low
getting
threat
there.
level and a good social player. Like
She is-
very,
she's
very good
likable.
socially. She'll get along with people fine. She's good. She's even though she was on Yanu, one of the worst tribes ever challenge wise.
Yeah.
She's good enough at challenges. She shouldn't be a liability. I have
mean-
zero reason to doubt that she makes the merge.
Yeah,
at
if
least.
there is no Final Four fire making, she gets 4th place.
Yeah, I think Tiffany could cruise to an easy top like 10 spot.
She's the Wentworth. She's the Wentworth.
Yeah, because
Also, is she
nobody's
the-
going to be looking at Tiffany for a while until like really late, probably.
Yeah.
Is
Especially
she the
with
player
the
that's
young
placed the
cast.
lowest?
Yeah, she is an 8th place finisher. That is the
Yeah, I think
the
everyone
lowest,
else has done
highest
better than that.
placement of anybody on this cast.
That we
Yeah.
know of. Again,
Yeah,
That we know of. We don't know about Savannah and Rizo.
Maybe
Let's-
Riz is
yeah.
the first people. Maybe
Yeah, and
Rizo
his
is
gimmick just worked so well they had to bring it back.
Yeah, it was super talented.
But I mean, the reason they brought her back was because of Q.
Yeah, I mean, Probst just says it. I almost call
I'd
him
agree with
Coach.
that.
Like,
Yeah.
that's the only thing he can say about her.
Yeah,
think
Probst
she has
just
a
the
personality
only
that
thing
could've
Probst says
highlighted
about her in the
that.
reveal is that she beefed with Q. That is it.
People
Yeah.
aren't
Very
excited
unique
honestly,
for her.
on 46.
I like
man.
her.
And
Her put downs of Banu, Charlie, and Ben were way better.
I
That
love
is
that
true.
thing on Final also where she's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
we don't want to hear rock music, we don't want to hear Taylor Swift. Please talk
Yeah,
about
exactly.
the actual season.
As soon
Yes.
as soon as Tiffany opened her mouth at Final Tribal, I knew that Siga was not winning the season, and that made me
I would have
happy.
jumped in the fire if I were Charlie or Ben. I
man.
would have felt so roasted. I would have quit.
Mhm.
As soon as Banu called Kenzie the mermaid dragon, I was like, oh, she's just winning.
Yeah.
Such a like, this person's winning the game confessional. But I'd say Tiffany, I'm cautiously optimistic for her as a character. I think she had a fun
Yeah.
personality that they don't really show, and I think if they show it, she could be, more fun. I think
Yeah,
we could come out of this a lot higher on Tiffany than we are.
46. Just fully, I don't remember anything. 6.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
I wasn't paying attention for any of 45 and 46.
Or
46.
Tiffany's
Late.
breakdown on it.
Okay, 46 is
Eh.
go
Yeah,
on
46
YouTube
has-
and type in Q best moments, and that's the way to watch 46.
Yeah.
You
True.
meant
And
Banu
those
best
are really
moments.
some great
Or
moments.
Banu, let's
Some
go.
good best
Just watch both of Banu's 90-minute boot episodes. Back to
All right, let's move on.
Let's
Move on.
Yeah, moving on.
Let's move on.
We can move on.
she's
a winner contender, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think she's making
we
it
all
for a run.
here.
Yeah, I think we can all agree on that.
She can make it.
Oh my god, Twitter is going to be so normal about this.
Mother V.
Okay, can we just talk about how obviously Photoshop that second image is? Oh my god.
Oh yeah. Thankfully, I will say this about Genevieve. Thankfully, she don't have internet.
She's a good personality. She's solid casting. I get why they were bringing her back. I'm surprised she's the pick from 47. I was really expecting Andy. But
Thank God.
Pleasantly surprised.
I am very happy for Genevieve.
Hey, listen, Andy's a nice guy in real life. I met him. He is very different from how he was on the show. He's actually like.
Unless
really
you're like
awesome.
Dan, every time I say like I didn't like someone, I mean on the show.
I'm sure Andy's a really cool dude in real life.
Yeah, what did the hot cop do to you?
Yeah, no, because my thing, my thing on the show with it's like you watch him in the second half of the premiere of episode 1, and it's like, oh my god, and that he is just nothing like that in real life. Like he's you would meet him and you would never expect that he's the dude that cried about no one clapping for him when he chopped a coconut.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
They should have cast Andy and his high school
Andy's
bully.
not
That
here.
would have been a great season.
I did get to tell Andy. I did get to tell him I thought his season was mid, and he was like, "Yeah, that's fair."
Yeah.
All right, Genevieve.
All right, back to Genevieve.
Back to Genevieve.
Yeah, if I could start for a second.
Fine.
Because I think Genevieve is definitely somebody who will probably have another strong run in her with this group. From what we saw in the original season, I think that generally speaking, she is a pretty well-rounded player in all three aspects, and I think that's pretty gonna end up carrying her throughout most of this with all the other crazy people around her.
Yeah, I think she could absolutely be the next person to have 2 top 5 showings. I think she could do pretty well.
Yeah. I
Genevieve
see.
could do well.
Make it far. I can't see her closing it out. She's just
that's
not.
the thing.
The threat level
Eventually,
is
she
always
will
going to
be
be
the obvious threat left at the end.
Oh yeah, no,
Yes.
that is also true. It was the same thing with 47. She was an insanely obvious threat in 47, and I'm not so certain she'll probably be able to change that later on in this, but she will be going.
I will say, yeah. So
if
here's what I'll
Rachel
say.
loses the Final 5 immunity, Genevieve could be the winner of 47. I'll say that.
Here's what I'm gonna say about Genevieve in 47 or threat level. I think that Genevieve and Rachel, and to an extent, were kind of unlucky that 47 kind of had a cast that was kind of more game savvy and more like aware of like these people who'd be trying to play under the radar games, kind of like Genevieve and Rachel. I think it's possible this cast. I think it's actually probable that this cast has enough big personalities that Genevieve is able to play the under the radar game that she would like to more. However, this comes with the caveat that Genevieve did do the soul boot in 47, which just raised her threat level astronomically for zero reason. If she's able to kind of like hold back her trigger and just kind of like let things kind of stand for a bit longer, I agree with Kyle. She has a great run in her, and she should be pretty fun while doing so, while going on the set.
I like
great
that.
run.
Luckily, she's not been poisoned by her really annoying online fandom because she's not.
But every great woman.
She's not the only person on here with the annoying online
fandom.
fandom. So many people here have annoying online
Genevieve's online fandom does not bother me because, again, she doesn't have internet.
Yeah, exactly. She's not going to be poisoned by them, which means she's probably going to be about the same and won't care that a million gay people are calling her mother.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I think those
you calling out our audience?
I think those people might enjoy seeing Genevieve on 50. I think she'll probably bring it.
Yeah,
I think she'll probably be good. Like for as much as I don't like 47, Genevieve is still like decently fun compared to the other people on 47, and I don't really see that changing.
One of my favorites for sure.
Yeah,
her and Vern are probably my favorites.
Like early on into like the casting process for 50, and I was like, oh yeah, Genevieve's. I was like, oh yeah, she's cooked. But with this specific group of people, I think she slips by in those early rounds and then just gains the momentum she needs to at least make it to like 8, right?
I could see Genevieve pulling out a run a lot like what we saw with Kamilla on 48, where she just sneaks through and hopefully she's better at making fire and she can pull out the win. But
well, who knows if she'll even have to make fire?
Yeah, I guess that's true.
We might not have the forced fire making, which I'm very 50-50 on whether or not that's going to happen.
Final 4 forced fire making. They never say anything about Final 5 forced fire making. So.
Yeah, it's a Final 4 finalist.
Yeah. So
all right, who's next? Who we got next?
We got a deep round for Genevieve.
I think that's not possible.
Yeah. All right. Next up.
That picture's awesome.
Now, that is a fantastic second photo.
That picture is insane. What is that?
I would cast him
even
for that alone.
For Jonathan Young. Who I think doesn't come off super likable, but I really liked what he brought to 42. Yeah. I think he's probably my favorite on that cast.
He's like the only source of like legitimate conflict on that entire
season. And I think this cast has a lot of likable people, and it needs someone like Jonathan who's going to bring real conflict to it. I think he's going to clash with people, and he's going to be too good in challenges to vote out. So he's going to stick around and keep clashing with people throughout the pre-merge. But I think once the merge hits, Jonathan's dead. He's going to need to win out, which he could. Look at him, but he's going to need to win immunities for the 20-person merge.
Yeah, and so a couple things I'm going to say about Jonathan right now. Like, first of all, with regards to challenges, like Shro was telling you earlier about how Ozzy, like watching Ozzy do challenges, like the only time he's interested in challenges. Watching Jonathan take on the ocean and win in like I think it's episode 3 of 42 is just one of the coolest things I've ever seen. Also, he's never going to do all that great in individual challenges because yes, he's this massive dude, but like the individual challenges don't really favor like big muscly dudes unless you're like a top tier. Like it favors more agility, which he has some, favors more endurance, which he has some, but like the fact that Jonathan is probably can bench more than anyone in this cast combined.
You could probably bench everybody on this cast.
Him and Joe combined probably can bench more than the other 22 combined. But but that's not gonna help in like the challenges, especially some of the ones where it's like especially the ones rely on body weight, because Jonathan definitely weighs more than they want this cast. Like, I think he's always gonna struggle to like really go all out in terms of like just winning out.
He's always gonna be hangry.
He's always gonna be hangry. Like I was telling you earlier, the calories, black calories are gonna get to him again.
Yeah,
I think he's
going to show up a little fat.
I think going to help him.
I think Jonathan is like for sure early jury.
Yeah,
no question.
He very likely. Yeah, but people are saying that about him going into 42, and he came in 4th. I think he's got more strategic game than people give him credit for.
Oh, I agree
I
with
agree with
that. I
that.
just feel like considering like people have seen him and people like know what to expect from
Yeah,
him,
but
people are just gonna be like, okay, like even his allies are gonna be like, okay, he's kind of just a sitting duck.
Yeah,
yeah,
the
this
thing with
season
Jonathan is that since
a
people have
lot of
seen him
people.
now, they're going to see this guy who is insane and challenging. And don't get me wrong, there are a lot of challenge threats on this season, but Jonathan is probably going to be the biggest out of all of them, and he is going to be the immediate target as soon as they hit merge.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, it's gonna
But there's
be a
gonna
hot
be
road.
there are a lot of challenge beasts who might want him as a very good meat shield,
That's true.
That is also fair.
and who are the type of people who are going to get along with him.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Yeah.
hard to imagine him not clicking with Colby and Joe and
Joe,
Stephenie and
Yeah.
all them,
Yeah,
and
that is fair.
honor
Because
integrity.
if
They're gonna
those
be the fun
people do
stuff.
make it, because if those people do make it to that point, I could see how he could, sliver his way in.
it's gonna be
I
I
really
think he's
thought-
another high
interesting
variance
along
one. I could
that
see
line.
him sticking around for a while. I could see him going super early because his personality is just too abrasive.
Yeah,
I
my
do
biggest
just want.
my
I do
biggest
just.
worry-
He's not winning.
No,
yeah. My biggest
I-
worry about Jonathan as a character is that I think production likes him too much. Like that's my big problem with Jonathan 1 is that Probes clearly loved him, and so
yeah, they
let
don't lean into his meanness quite enough. I agree.
yeah.
Sorry,
So I
Mona, what were you
worry
going to say?
continue.
Oh, next slide.
Yeah.
No, Mona
Alright.
was going to say something.
I do
Yes.
just want to say that it is absurd to me, as someone that did watch Endurance as a kid, and someone who also grew up watching a ton of Survivor as a kid, that it's if you told me, like 5-year-old me, that the guy I was watching on Endurance would go on to be on the 50th seasons of Survivor, I'd probably be confused that Survivor was on for 50 seasons because I couldn't count, but still.
He's
Because you are a normal person.
biggest
Okay.
new era, too. I think if you asked a lot of people who their favorite new era player is, you're going to get Jonathan as an answer. Not infrequently. I think that's a big.
Yeah,
He's
casuals
super
love
popular.
him.
Okay.
And I get the
well,
love. I mean, that challenge is he
He's
fights
pretty
the
good.
ocean and wins. You know?
He takes
Yeah,
on the
dragging
ocean.
Omer and
He wins
Marianne.
a team challenge that no other team could win as a tribe.
Yeah, it's
Does
unbelievable.
himself.
He's
It's
unbelievable.
so cool. I think we're
so-
we got-
Jonathan's an early juror.
Yeah,
Yep.
probably.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm kind of rooting for him.
On to the next.
I hate to say it. I know she's pretty popular.
What is she doing on
Probably
50,
first
dude?
out.
She's
she's
done.
doomed.
She is.
She's
I've
done.
talked multiple times about how she's cooked here. She's cooked. We talked about how Aubry's cooked. No, Kamilla is the most cooked person on this season. I think even more so than
Yeah.
Kyle. I think Kamilla is done.
She doesn't have the challenge ability. She's good in solo challenges, but not that in the tribal ones. She's fine, but not an asset. You know, she's built
she's
in
had-
duo.
Socially, but not great socially.
Mhm.
Kyle.
The only
Kyle
thing that
being on the cast kills her.
yeah,
Kyle
the-
being on the cast is what really that's the nail in the coffin.
So
for her.
brutal for
Yeah,
her.
she's
the
gonna
only
get
thing that can go in her
hammered.
favor is the last time we saw her, she completely sucked at fire making. So
But
if
there might
that's
not be
maybe
fire
the
making, and
image
everybody
people
knows that.
remember,
So,
yeah, I guess that is true. But if somehow that's the last thing people remember about her, maybe. But yeah, that's just wishful thinking. I think she is pretty good.
Yeah,
I
like
think,
her.
I think it's looking like a 24 out of 24 for Kamilla, which is too bad. I know she's got a lot of people pulling for her, but
Yeah, I like her. I would like to see her pull off a deep run, but I think she's
season.
just screwed. I think she's
I-
just
Yeah,
so.
'cause the thing about Kamilla at the end of the day, 48 is going to be the most recent season these people have seen, and the big story throughout this entire one of the big stories throughout this entire season was this whole secret quote unquote alliance that Kyle and Kamilla had the entire time, and both of them are going to be on this season, and you know that there's going to be at least a few of these people that are going to be like, oh, we can't let these people get through. They're just going to link up again.
yeah, I think I'd be shocked if she makes the merge.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
like
I
you
saw
can't even
winners at
blame
war.
these.
You know, they got Amber and Natalie out immediately.
Yeah,
Yeah.
look at what
Yeah.
before.
Yeah, it's
That's a
like
good point.
I don't. I feel bad.
I mean, another example. Here's versus villains. One of the reasons Parvati's to target immediately is because of all the Micronesia allies she has on the other tribe.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like I just straight up feel not only was it just not only is 50 not the right season for her to return, not only is it like so
Yeah, I
soon
think if it was
after,
like
it's like
55, we were enough of a cooldown where she could, have a solid run again. But
yeah, and
immediately
not
for
and
Kamilla,
also
it's looking
also
really good.
she's also on a season with Kyle.
Yeah, that's the
This
big
is
one.
so bad.
Yeah,
Like,
It's like
and
it's
she's
like
just not that.
She's
just
got that
being-
good at Survivor glow to her as well.
Yeah,
A lot of people are gonna look at her and be like, she comes off like somebody who wins on a return.
she's a
And I think people are gonna
she's a
recognize
smart, capable player. Like,
She got
and
yeah.
like
really good at it.
everyone's right to like target her right away. Like, she's a
Mhm.
scary player. She's a
Yeah, be
good
afraid of her.
player.
Because
Yeah.
if you don't target her right away, we saw 48, she'll sneak through the cracks and kind of run the whole thing.
Yeah.
And
She's
she almost won. She was
Yeah, like-
apparently gonna sweep
If she beats Eva, she wins Survivor. Yeah, she's very close if she learns how to make
It
fire.
is yeah,
She's
like
Or
it
wins
is
motion.
insane. It is insane how like, the biggest jury threat on that whole season with so many like big physical competitors and just like very out there people was some like 411 Discord mod who is like 30 and looks 18.
Yeah, she looks younger than me. It's crazy.
Great.
Good
Yeah.
for her.
It's so funny that she's talking about her mom, her parents respecting her, and
She's
she's been
married.
married for 6 years.
yeah. Well,
She's
wouldn't
Yeah,
it be cool that we'll have Kamilla telling Colby what a chat is, and Rizgod telling Colby what Riz is? It's gonna be great.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay, please, please no.
I do want to see. Oh my god!
Colby and Kamilla, I
Imagine,
think, would be fun
imagine,
together.
imagine Colby and
They're
Kamilla
just
have
the
a
two most different people ever.
no. Imagine Colby and Kamilla have a secret alliance the whole time that no one knows about.
Okay, that would like
Best season of all
That
time.
means
I love
that
it.
implies that we're getting Survivor winner Colby, so I am down for that.
Exactly. Colby
All right,
wins
let's
Survivor.
get the ball
It's not
rolling.
realistic because that also implies Kamilla gets past like episode 2.
Yeah, I think
Which-
the Kamilla fans are in for a rough season, unfortunately.
I
I
feel
like her. I think she's first boo.
I do
Yeah.
like
I
her.
don't really like her. I think we got probably the best Kamilla we could get last season.
I mean, they could have
But yeah,
edited her better. They could have
Yeah.
had her start as the growth arc instead of starting her off knowing everything, ending
mhm.
Mhm.
on she's learned so much.
Yeah.
But
The
whatever.
fact that they try and like retcon her as a growth arc is like really it's like I get why, because it is like every single episode in 48 she was consistently getting way cockier, but like
It's
Mm.
really weird that like her first big ape episode is her running the game, and then
Yeah.
every episode since she's talking about how she's grown.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Who do we got
Alright.
next?
Oh, it's partner in crime, Kyle.
yep.
Kyle
Uh,
Frazier.
speaking of
Who is
doomed,
uh
yeah.
The self-branded
by the
Avon
way,
Barksdale
who
of Survivor.
is by the way, he is younger than Kamilla.
That's crazy.
Yeah, just
That is crazy.
just by
And
a
that
couple months.
Yeah, and
Oh
I
yeah,
think
because
think
part of their
31.
connection on 48 was
Anniversary
because they were like
videos.
the exact same age, right? Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, they have a
Um,
lot in
having the
common.
Guyanese.
I think they were
Yeah,
cast
both
to be
Guyanese.
honest.
Yeah, like it was pretty
Yeah.
clear at the first episode that Kyle and Kamilla had a lot in common, which is
yeah.
Yeah,
Same
it's
Let me
favorite
start
movie.
off.
I did pick Kyle's wedding photo because again the whole thing was that Kyle got married right after this season and right before he flew out because they're all on the plane right now. The last thing he posted was a video of him telling his wife that he won. So I thought that was cute. And
also
Oh, yeah,
very
you
cool
look
photo.
well, yeah.
If anyone who's listening to this hasn't seen it, it's a great video. Very cool. You can see why Kyle was cast. He's just
Yeah.
cool, dude.
Yeah,
Cool dude.
and let me point that out also is that I do think Kyle's chances are a little bit better because it is very hard to vote out a cool dude.
yeah.
Yeah.
And like I think
Thanks.
Kyle just comes across so naturally cool and people just naturally really like and respect him. That
think he has
he's hard to vote off first.
Player, too.
Yeah,
I
'cause
think
he's
he's
just-
maybe the
Yeah.
best player of the new era. I think that case can be made. It's probably either him or someone
It's
else.
him
we'll
or
talk about in a bit.
exactly. I was gonna say. Yeah,
I do have to rewatch. I do have to rewatch 48 to really. I don't think he's the best player of the new era. I think that there were definitely times where he got a little too emotional.
he does have to save himself from an idol, but
that
but that was because of an
It
awful
was also
worst case
because of
swap.
it was also
it's a
because he got
really
swap fucked.
unlucky swap.
Like not only is he swapped into a 3-2 minority, but like the 3 in that majority were like in an already established alliance. Like I cannot blame Kyle.
All strong men. No reason not to vote out the strong guy in the minority alliance.
I cannot remotely blame Kyle for being an idol there.
Yeah.
No,
like that's not his fault. He's
not against his winning game, but not really against him as a player.
And he essentially replaces Thomas within that alliance right afterwards. Like
that takes skill.
Yeah, and
he crawls his way up that ladder pretty well.
And ropes Kamilla in that too.
Yeah, it's kind of like a Danny thing almost, where he gets with the majority and then gets his way into it.
Yeah,
it's pretty impressive.
And then he wins the game.
Really strong player.
Yeah, another thing with
player. All of what we're talking about, by the way, is stuff that this entire cast just saw.
They know that he is very good at Survivor.
Yeah.
However,
so it's
I think the fan reaction has been less than amazing about Kyle's skill, which probably is helpful. But still, he's really.
I mean, I think he's cooked. Either way.
Yeah, I think there is.
I think winners are
no chance in him. I think he could do Ethan's run in All Stars. I don't think he can do better than Ethan's run in All Stars.
Here is what I will say about Kyle's potential path here. If Kamilla goes out early, that really lowers Kyle's threat level like right away.
But
and like But yes, he's a winner. Like I said, I'm just trying to think best case scenario is unfortunately where Kamilla goes out first. He's on a tribe that just does really well, which maybe he's able to worm his way in. I don't think if Kyle wins this season, he's probably the best player of all time. I'll just say that. But I don't think it's happening. But like he's coming in, it's such an uphill battle for him. I think probably best realistic case scenario for him is like late pre-merge.
I do think this is actually a fairly solid cast for Kyle, surprisingly enough. We have a lot, like we mentioned this with some of the older players that value someone that has a strong sense of ethics and honor and integrity and stuff like that, which a lot of fans hate. But hey, that's a good way to bond with people, make people trust you. If the cards fall,
they have a strong sense of ethics, I think. Even if he's the schemer on his season, he clearly he cares about keeping Joe around for a moral reason. He cares about
he proved it in his season. Like they could look at his season and say he wasn't the one doing that and that. He stuck true to his word.
And one thing that was really
gentleman's agreement with Kamilla to put each other in fire, and
and the one thing that was so crazy about and the one thing that was so crazy about Kyle's game was that he made all these promises to so many people, and he was trying his real hardest to make sure he kept all of them, and he never once had to break any of them.
Yeah. I think the issue with Kyle being proven loyal, he's also proven to be someone who can win a trade vote. So do you want? You can't run the table with that guy.
Exactly.
You got to come eventually.
You cannot run the table with that at all.
And the whole immunities, so he can clearly, pull it out at the end.
I feel like a lot of the arguments in favor of Kyle are kind of overruled by the fact it's Jenna and Colby probably have not watched the show in a while. They probably watched the last month and saw this guy, win the show.
Yeah, and, that final few hours of 48 are so crowning up for Kyle.
Yeah,
he plays so well in the end game.
You put Kyle on a tribe with Jenna Lewis, and he's first out.
I think
very possible.
Yeah, I think a Kyle who's coming back for season 60 after winning 48 might be able to get something going, but I think a Kyle that just won is too obviously.
Like I said, why late hour was best case scenario for him. I think if he's the first out from his tribe, that would not surprise me at all.
And I think Kyle is also we've already seen the most Kyle can give us on TV, and from a character I think he was getting those Joe residuals. Once he linked up with Joe, he became a way better character because Kyle started talking more in the. I think Survivor's more interesting as an ethical discussion in a lot of ways.
I agree.
So
I very much
that's when I started really appreciating Kyle more was in that lens when he hooked up with Joe. He still had his, his moments, like, because he's a winner. He's a new era winner. He has to have those moments. But I don't see what Kyle can bring us on TV this time around. But and he's likely cooked, but I think there's more of a chance than he should have.
Mm-hmm.
But I think
Fair.
he is still very cooked. All right.
Okay, if you like the honor and integrity seasons, check out South Africa, Panama. By the way, that's a big one.
Next up, someone we know next
Literally
nothing
who?
about.
I think we don't know.
We did not
I think she won, and I don't think she's going to tell anyone. So
I like her earrings.
Well, Rizo might tell people.
I think she. Oh yeah, true.
But Rizo wasn't on the
get her at least to the swap, not telling anyone.
Oh, I think that, because they would know because they do the live reveal on the island now.
Yeah. So, the only two, she's probably cooked. Like he was saying, these casts are too savvy. They're not letting a Russell Hantz 2.0 situation happen.
Yeah.
And like best case scenario for them, best case for Savannah and Rizo is essentially they make mid-merge like Michaela and Zeke down a game changers. I have such a hard time seeing the 49 people do well. I hope she's cool. I hope she's really cool on 49, so that I'm excited to see her back on 50.
Yeah. I mean, she had to have done like something big on 49 to get on 50, but
I think
nonetheless, and they put Zeke back on back to back. So
I do think for 50, the 49 people are going to have to be like very proven, and I think they're not going to put somebody who isn't by the end of 49 going to be somebody the fans aren't excited to see back.
No, like I think
they might just want to put on a hot winner.
I straight up do think that there is a very good chance that it's like, you put Savannah the winner and then the big personality of the season.
Yeah,
we'll get to him.
I mean, he's already clearly somebody production loves. The trailer shows a lot of him. We'll get to him. We'll talk about him at the very end. We'll get to him.
And
his season doesn't end for another 4 months, but he's already very contentious.
Yeah, and then just to end it with Savannah, like we're saying, I think this cast, if it is 3 tribes, like production loves and makes sense with 24 and even genders and all that, they'll see Kyle on one tribe, they'll see D on one tribe, and they'll probably assume, oh wow, this tribe with no winners, the 49 person might have won.
Yeah. So, although I feel like if Savannah does win 49 and she just openly on Matt chat is like, yeah, I'm going to be real with y'all, I won.
I think Pros might blow her spot on Matt chat as well.
Yeah, she might. Yeah, he might.
Well, to be fair, if she does win, then there's a non-zero chance that Rizgod blows up her spot on Matt chat.
Also true.
Nice guy.
Also
true. Honestly, straight up, that would be really funny.
If she lies, Scott calls her out.
Yeah, I mean they're on the same starting tribe, so they also might have like a Q Tiffany thing going on.
That might be it. They might also have a Kyle Kamilla thing.
Yeah. I think it's more likely.
Or a Franny Matt thing.
They're going to be on the same tribe because they're getting married.
Yeah. I think it's more likely to be a Q Tiffany thing because Savannah, she seems like a normal young woman, and then we have the freak of nature.
Yeah.
We don't know. He might be a nice guy. He might be cool.
Yeah. All right, we'll save the rest of this discussion for Rizzo's.
Yeah.
So let's get. We'll get to Q.
Oh baby!
Gosh,
first off,
Q's like one of the youngest people in this cast. I keep forgetting.
Yeah,
okay, first off,
31.
First off, why did I never notice the Q shirt was like ripped in that? And second off, what is that other photo? My God, both of these photos are insane.
Yeah, you dude. I'm excited.
Shout out to Southern Castaways, man.
Oh yeah, I am. Okay, awesome. Yeah, like I
put him on with Coach and get a good Coach reactor and a good Q reactor, I guess.
Yeah, no, I have been like questioning. It's like, oh, how good is Q gonna be? I'm excited for Q again.
I'm so excited for this. I am so.
I am.
Q on social media too.
Yeah, like I was worried that he would be like, oh, hamming up, like, oh, he's gonna say big mistake a billion times. He's gonna say cancel Christmas a billion times. He's gonna do the Qs. He was doing all that shit on. He tried to quit it. He was doing all of that shit already on the island, anyways. But Q is also just like naturally just such an insane character that it's like
he's super fun. He's my favorite new era player of all of them. I love Q.
I think he's mine as well.
He genuinely is. He's up there for me. He might be number one. It's either him or Joe.
He's behind
or
Shan.
Shan.
For me, it's either him or
Shan.
Him or Shan for me.
Yeah,
It's definitely fan for me.
When Q tried to quit because of his antics were immoral, I was like,
dude,
that's
so
like
cute.
my favorite moment of the new era. I was like, holy shit.
I think my favorite thing
that
about
is the
Q,
only time a live tribal council has been like worth it.
Oh yeah.
I think my favorite thing about Q isn't necessarily something down on the show. It's the fact that during that Tevin boo where he like says he's gonna quit because of his antics, he hosted a watch party for that episode. The episode where everyone hates him, where essentially it's 9 people just giving him shit for how annoying he is. And Q's like, yeah, I want like all my friends and family to watch everyone hate me. Like he's
awesome.
He's so much fun.
He needed to take the piss out of himself.
I think it's not impossible from a gameplay level. He goes very early because people don't want to deal with the Q antics.
He's like the worst ally.
I think
he's more in danger of that than Coach. I think.
Yeah, because Coach has more fans on the cast. Q does not. Q has enemies.
Yeah, Coach has way more fans. The thing with because Q is going to suffer from the issue that Coach has in Heroes versus Villains in South Pacific, where they already saw his antics so recently, and nobody wants to deal with that. Although Coach obviously manages to get away with it in South Pacific mostly,
and
but for
Heroes versus Villains.
Yeah,
like he makes it pretty far in Heroes versus Villains, all things considered.
Yeah, he gets. Yeah,
he also makes a lot farther if Sandra doesn't throw him under the bus like that.
Yeah, and then Q.
I won't.
Yeah, I think Q is like probably going to be cooked because again, like people just are not going to want to deal with the antics that he brought on to 46.
Agreed.
Yeah, and
he
I
is
think
like the
there's
worst
a
ally
difference between Q's antics and Coach's antics. Like Coach, you can trust, you can contain. I don't think you can trust or contain Q.
Not at all.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah,
Coach will ride or die for you. I don't know if Q will.
Q is just insane. Like this dude is just he'll make his decisions by which way the wind blows his Q skirt.
Yeah,
wrong.
But nonetheless, I do think that if Q is also one of these players like Joe, who's like got to get all the strong people together and whatnot, and I feel like depending on it's like his antics are honestly could win people over if it winds up best case scenario for him. If like if he's on a tribe with Colby and Aubry, like he is in a good spot.
I think he needs to make the merge with the Honor and Integrity boys to be in a good spot. I don't think he's in a good spot pre-merge with them.
Yeah, and
I think it's gonna be a rough pre-merge, but if he gets through it, he might do pretty well.
And he's not a particularly strong challenge competitor.
No, he just looks like he would be.
He's not. He's a big
exactly.
dude. Yeah,
he's not.
Does he have a tattoo of the baby from Rugrats?
Yes, he does.
Oh my gosh, I never noticed that. Gosh, oh my gosh, I didn't notice that. Yeah, that's on.
That
is incredible.
Oh my goodness.
But no, I feel like again, Q's not winning.
I forgot the name of the kid.
Q's not winning.
Tommy.
But of
Tommy,
here's the thing: of any player that it's like this person is just such a fucking not winner. If there's anyone who would just secretly pull out, being like, you know what, if there's anyone who could just fucking somehow magically pull out the win, it could be Q.
I hope that. I hope that happens. I think odds that are like next to impossible.
I don't think it's happening. I'm just saying, of all of the people where it's like you're crazy, there's no shot. He's the one where it's like, okay, like I could see 1 in 1,000 universes where he's
1% rather than 0%.
I think honestly, I think Coach's antics are just so much more tolerable, especially with a new era cast.
Yeah. Nonetheless, I think he's late.
Again, they're all fans of Coach. They're not fans of Q.
Yeah,
it's the issue for him.
Yeah, I do think he's out.
Though when he comes back for Survivor 70, that's his shot.
All the Survivor 70.
I'm really glad he's on this cast. I'm really glad he's here.
When they do Q versus Banu Redemption Island season, it'll be peak.
Oh, yeah.
We'll be there.
I'm happy to see Q here. All right, so next up,
financial analyst.
Dude, I'm flipping over.
Incredible meme, Mike. You pulled out some real bangers for this. This might be your best one. This is a great photo.
I did, yes.
I think she can take it.
I don't know. I feel like we got what we're gonna get from Emily the first. Like I loved her the first time. That's what we're gonna get from her.
I
character.
agree. As a character, I don't see where Emily can go. Like I assume she has stayed growed as a person, which is nice, but it's kind of like Sophie in Winners at War. It's like, oh, well, all right, well, there goes your bite. You know, the best thing about you was your bite, and it was cool to see the growth arc. But like, okay,
Yeah, I think the thing with Emily. Yeah, no, I think the thing with Emily is that she constantly was talking for like ages and ages that, oh, no, I'm never going to go back on. And then now she is back on. So I don't know how things are really going to be the same. I don't really think she's got much to offer necessarily, in my personal opinion, because I think
win.
Yeah, she might win. Yeah, she does have strategic potential. But
could win.
Like she's a winner candidate. I don't see her being a particularly interesting person on TV.
Yeah, unfortunately, I agree.
It's a casting choice that makes all the sense in the world, though. So I can't.
It'd be bizarre. She absolutely earned her spot on 45. She's great. She's one of the bigger stars in there.
Yeah. I think Kamilla probably good to like, unless she like totally regresses back to how she was on day 1 at 45. I think she's probably good till like the early merge. She might overplay, get herself in a bad position, but like I think she stands a pretty good chance of going far. Like Emily by the end of 45 was like a legitimately really good Survivor player. And
yeah.
As long as in the off season Hannah has not gotten her addicted to vaping, I think she'll be fine.
I feel like
infected her too much.
I feel like Emily is probably primed for a deep run. That said, like either she goes pretty deep or she's cooked right away. But I don't think that's gonna happen.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen because
she's that good at challenges too.
Too many big threats.
And
if
we have these double boot challenges, like 2 tribes go every episode of the pre-merge, that really could hurt her a bit because she's on the disaster tribe. She wasn't good at challenges. The challenge strength actually might be a pretty important part of this season.
But
she's okay in the challenges.
That modern Survivor players are just willing to let themselves die in challenges, and they have been proven that they will just get bailed out if it goes too long.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's true. So I don't think Emily's proven a challenges. Doesn't she only win the one reward? Right?
She does.
Yeah,
but like it's
she's never the worst player in life. She's not the reason that Lulu loses all that.
She's more individual. She has more individual wins than Q.
That's true.
Oh no, wait, Q
Q won the Applebee's.
Remember? That was awesome. Applebee's one.
Yeah, that we got to hear Shaheen quote. Why isn't Shaheen here? He could just be quoting all the castaways for us.
I think Shaheen should be all 24 people here.
Every cast. No. Every cast member is actually just Shaheen, but it's just Shaheen being them in a costume and just freaking in person.
No, it should be Mitch.
It should be Tyler Perry shit.
All right. All right. I think Emily's gonna do well. She'll do well. Yeah, she'll be fine.
Probably.
D.
Oh boy,
some more Florida rep.
DOA. Dead on arrival.
Yeah,
dead on arrival. No question.
Probably. Yeah.
Maybe
so Kyle was
again.
So Kyle was talking earlier about like how Kyle's potentially the best player of this new era. I'm guessing Kyle, you were thinking that D is the other potential player.
Yeah, these are the top two.
D is awesome. Really good.
Everyone agrees D is
D is a really good Survivor player. Her win on 45 is awesome. She herself is a really cool personality, but she is probably screwed here. Like,
she has the challenge strength.
She's good at challenges.
I don't see it for her. She's too obviously a threat. Everyone has seen what she did.
He was obviously here's the thing. She was obviously a threat on 45 too. Like people clocked onto D as a threat like right away in 45, and she still skated by. Granted, here that's gonna be even more magnified, but D's just a really good social player.
2 to 3 winners is the thing.
I get what you're saying,
and she doesn't have those Kyle vibes to get like a run of I like him.
I think she also comes off more threatening. I think Kyle comes off like he's likable and a good player.
Kyle's disarming.
He is like she's tough. Like she can kick your ass. She's a solid, like strong player. And
yeah. And
if I'm gonna
are there
cut
like
her,
any
if
single
I'm gonna
men on
cut
this
her, I'm
season?
going first.
Like,
Well,
they did the whole thing with
worried
Austin and the
about single men
she
with
sewed
regards.
over Austin.
No, doesn't Rizo has a girlfriend? I think Rizo has a girlfriend.
He is Rizgod's girlfriend, Lizgod.
Yeah,
What?
so like there's no single men on this cast, so there goes that angle, which like I have no idea how real that angle was, but the show played it up at
Are
the
her and
end.
Johnny Bananas married after the Challenge 41?
Spoilers for the Challenge 41.
Spoilers for the Challenge 41. She is rumored to hook up with
It is
Johnny
insane
Bananas.
how they just let her do the Challenge 41 and Survivor 50.
I mean,
okay.
I assume they just needed a hot girl winner. Like, not that I hate saying it, but like reality TV casting does stuff like this.
Carolyn is like absolutely just like losing her shit right now.
Yeah,
It's so funny that
hilarious.
she's just about the. I think that I can't bring anyone back from the Raiders thing is just Jeff coping and justifying not bringing back Carolyn.
I think he just didn't want to bring back Carolyn.
Carolyn got a cease and desist, dog.
I think it was the
she doesn't wanna deal
podcast.
with that.
I think it was also the podcasting with her and Carson. Like, I think Jeff just doesn't like Carolyn specifically.
Yeah, I think he just has a problem with Carolyn.
Because if Boston Rob wants to come back for the season, Boston Rob is on this season. Let's be real.
Yeah, I mean, I think like Tony, he doesn't give a shit. Parvati wouldn't care. I think it's just
Jeremy Ozzy, he probably wouldn't care that
We're
much.
on the first season of the new Traders.
Yeah, I forgot Cirie. Yeah, Cirie was literally on the Traders.
Yeah,
maybe
Stephenie.
like.
Cirie just.
I mean, we're not getting any like challenge mainstays. I think like Michelle and Michaela and Jay probably are never coming back to Survivor.
Yeah,
but
but it's also Michelle, Michaela, and Jay. You know, I was expecting.
I mean, supposedly Jay got the call for 50. I know Michelle didn't.
Yeah.
I don't think they invited anyone who was on Winners at War for 50.
No.
Yeah, there's no way.
No,
I think you guys are done.
Yeah.
Another thing.
I think. I think D.
Michelle told me that she didn't get the call. Natalie Anderson posted something about not getting the call and was like, "Okay, if you're on Winners at War,
about not getting the call."
Yeah, I think out of all the winners, I would say that D is probably the most cooked out of all of them, if I'm being completely honest here.
I think out of the entire cast, she's the most cooked. I said that about Kamilla.
I think Kamilla's more cooked than her, but like
I think Kamilla is more cooked. But
No, I'm talking about like the winners, the three.
D's
between three winners. Yeah, I think D's more cooked than Kyle.
She is the only woman. Real quick, she is the only woman in her 20s. That I don't know if that'll play in the factor anywhere, but sometimes it's just a diversity of having young women around. Yeah. But I don't think this cast will care that much about that.
No, I don't.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
Yeah, the thing with the best case scenario for D is a mini cockroach run that gets her to like, I don't know, the 7th boot of the season.
Yeah,
to like
the final pre-merge boot. Or the last couple pre-merge boots.
Her best case scenario is just a complete skin of her teeth Linsanity run to barely get to the end of the pre-merge. Like that is her best case scenario.
So Ethan's on also.
Even then, Kyle's way more likely to get that, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think D's doomed. She's too obviously a great player. Yeah. Kyle's greatness is much more subtle.
I do genuinely think she might be the first boot. She's my prediction.
Yeah, that wouldn't shock me.
I do think the first boot will be Kamilla, but
I think
at least D is great in challenges.
I mean,
it's like that is always something to consider. That very first tribal council, it's like, damn, do I want to go to another one?
Very good. She is a part of why Reba won all those challenges. She's very good.
Like I feel like could D be like could D be like Kamilla, Aubry, Devins, Rizgod, maybe? Yeah. I could see that.
I hope she does better. I hope she does better than
Robert. To you, D. Shout out to Florida.
I hope we get a deep run from D. I don't see it.
I don't see it.
What I'm hoping from D is that we get another home wrecker arc from D, and this time it's on the show.
Oh yeah,
I hope so. They should have put Wendell here if they were gonna cast D. Like,
which married man is going to sleep with?
Yeah, I will say if in some wild wild scenario where Dee wins the season, she's the best player of all time.
She's the best player
right?
ever. Yeah, like I said about Kyle earlier, if Dee wins the season, she's the best player ever.
Kyle would be a maybe. If Dee wins, she's the best player of all time.
I think it's probably still Iceman. Honestly.
Yeah, it's still probably Vesepia or Brian.
Fraternity seasons are fake, anyways.
They are very, very fake.
Yeah,
but like, I wouldn't complain.
But yeah, no, I think Dee
Sandra
right
to be
now
the
I
best
think
of all
is
time.
one of the best players of all time. Like
I do consider Sandra still best of all time. Like she won her first 2 tries. Like, come on.
Who we got next?
Watch the challenge 41.
Oh.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Dude, that is Mount Rushmore right there. See
No,
you later.
No. I don't want to watch Warfare.
We're so done, guys. We're so done.
Dude, Ben better show up to Fred on the intro.
Yeah, they better make a. Nah, they better make a Ben Katzman reference. I swear to God, if Charlie doesn't make a single Ben Katzman reference,
This is reminding me. Are they going to do an in-person family visit for?
I do. Oh gosh, Ben. No, I don't think so.
Do they have the time for that?
No,
because if Ben,
but I guess that doesn't matter
because if Charlie brings Ben out as his loved one,
that would be making better than he was the first time.
It would.
Kyle in this podcast will literally explode.
I think Jerry got cut because we have that picture of her hanging out with Ben Katzman.
Yeah, it's true.
Sure. Well, Ben Katzman, I'm sure you are a lovely human being in real life. Everything I've heard suggests you're a very nice guy.
You can shred. You can legitimately shred.
You're
one guitar
seem like the coolest dude in real life.
Ben, the real guy, seems like somebody I would love. Yeah, he seems.
I feel like if I were on Survivor, my alliance would be Charlie, Ben, and me, and that does sound terrible. I'm sorry to anyone that has to watch that.
What about Tim?
Oh yeah,
you'd be the Spice Girls. You'd be the Spice Girls that Bob Dog was talking about in Panama.
Yeah, it would be Taylor Swift versus Metallica versus Prince. It would be a great time.
I'd be in there for Bob Dylan on that.
You get Tapar in there for Bruce Springsteen.
And me in there for Sia, and I think we'd be a good crew.
Well, I guess we know who's getting
someone's looking for the money.
Well,
okay.
Anyways, Charlie, yeah. Character-wise, kill
don't
me.
like him.
The worst pick here.
On real levels of boring.
Yeah, it's like obviously Charlie was going to be back. Like he
was never.
Did everyone who was a co-host on the On Fire podcast come back?
Rachel didn't, but I don't think Rachel said yes to 50.
I also think
who were the co-hosts of that, by the way? Because I didn't really listen.
Evans, D, Charlie, and Rachel.
Okay.
And again, I'm inclined to believe Rachel turned down 50.
I think for 45, it's probably going to be Joe or Kyle as well. So I mean,
I think
maybe even
Kyle.
Yeah, it's usually the winner.
Could be Shaheen.
I'm in for every tribal.
No, it'll be fucking Shaheen.
It'll probably be Shaheen.
So here's the main thing about
terrified of Charlie 2.0.
Yeah. Here's the main thing about Charlie. None of us here like him because as a character he is insanely boring and his only personality trait is making Taylor Swift references. But he is going to make it far in this season because at the end of the day he is a strong player.
He is a very obviously good Survivor player, and just
but not too
obvious. If this happens right after like 46, it's like okay, he's maybe cooked. But there's so many people that are cooked that he's just not gonna be an obvious threat out the gate.
I think he is in a really good position to win Survivor.
It's like Colby isn't giving a shit about this guy. It's like Charlie he's a winner contender. He really is.
Mm-hmm. No. I can already see it now. Charlie and Aubry aligning on the first day because they were robbed of their wins.
That is absolutely happening. This is 100% happening. We were talking about like Q being on the same cast as Aubry for the Mariah thing. No, Charlie and Aubry are gonna be on the same tribe, so you can talk about how they were robbed. It's gonna happen.
Please put them on different tribes.
I mean, you can't put Q and Charlie on the same tribe. They already have an established dynamic. It's like how you got to.
It's gonna be Charlie. I think it's gonna be Charlie and Aubry on the same tribe, and this scene is definitely going to happen.
Q and Aubry is such a layup that you just got to assume production will fumble it.
Yeah.
Raw.
But But
I'm dreading Charlie's return. I think he's going to play excellently, like he did last time. I think he's going to be very boring while doing that.
He could be the main character of the season. Like he really has a good chance to be in the main
He's like a
character.
great guy in real life. I know he's one of the few people on this cast that was vocally in support of Palestine, like for a while. So
yeah, him and Ozzy and
seems like a
Joe.
very cool dude.
And Joe,
Charlie,
yeah.
Charlie, like Ben, probably a very, very cool person in real life. But on Survivor 46 is next level on real levels of boring. I know I said that twice, but it's true. He's so boring.
He seems like a good guy, but I can't stand him on TV. He's horrible. He's so boring.
Folklore is a great album, but no, I don't need that much Taylor Swift in my life.
No way, bro. No freaking way.
Nope. It's crazy.
No.
Jeff,
if we do not get
different Taylor Swift songs in the announcement for Charlie.
I know.
Yep, Shake It Off.
Yes.
Cruel Summer too.
Yeah, bro said Cruel Summer and Shake It Off, bro. Nah, if there's not I swear to God, the first freaking confessional that Charlie's gonna have, he's gonna freaking say that the old Charlie can't come to the phone right now or some stupid thing like that.
He's dead. Charlie will be vindicated just like Taylor was after Kanye's arc. So it's cool.
Oh my God. Anyways,
let's move on to the Riz God.
Oh my God. Oh no.
Can
we go back? Can we go back to this? Like, Jesus Christ.
I think real quick before we get in on the Riz God. Is anyone here listen to his podcast or anything?
I listened to the intro and I couldn't listen to it anymore. I can't handle that much.
I heard him R-I-Z-G-O-D, and I wanted to kill myself.
He's the man, the myth, the legend. It's gonna be brutal. Like
there's a genuine chance that this guy is the winner of Survivor 49.
I think it's a 1 in 2. I think it's a 1 in 2 chance that he's the winner of that season.
Yeah, I think similar to Savannah, he's pretty.
I don't see adults voting for someone named the Riz God, but like I do see Survivor fans doing that, and they mainly cast Survivor fans and not adults on Survivor. So
yeah, I mean Riz God, no matter I don't think Riz God is going to be good. I don't think he's going to be a good Survivor player on 49, and I think he's even though no one has seen his season, he's just gonna walk onto the beach and be like, "Yo, I'm the Riz God," and he's going to be so DOA.
It's like, hey, everyone, Colby. It's like, oh, hi, what season are you? It's like 49. What's your name? I'm the Riz God, the man, the myth, the legend, the RIZZGOD. Colby, and then Colby just, and then Colby immediately jumps in the ocean.
Yeah, Colby is going to kill him.
Dude, a part of Colby is going to die out in Fiji. That's just the truth.
It's too bad we're ending on him because I feel like there just is nothing to say here.
Oh yeah, there's nothing to say because we don't know anything about him.
He's our youngest castaway. He's 25. He was born, I think, before the first Survivor season, but he was like an infant during it. So we'll probably get a scene of him and Jenna Lewis and be like, "Wow, I was only a baby."
Same tribe as Jenna Lewis, him or Savannah, to be like, "Wow, we really, you were on season 1 and I was whatever age when season 1 happened."
Okay, so here's the thing. Here's the thing that I'm gonna say. Like, we've made jokes about this about how Andy was insufferable in 47 or Shauheen was insufferable in 48. No, just from this promo alone, we saw 49. Obviously, we don't know what's gonna happen in the actual season, but this guy genuinely seems like on an 11 in the insufferable scale.
Bottom 10 character. Bottom 10 character.
He's going to be just one of the worst Survivor characters of all time.
He calls himself the Riz God, unironically.
South Africa fan.
Spells it out. He spells out Riz.
He spells out, and then he calls himself the man, the myth, the legend. Has anyone here met a person who ironically calls himself the man, the myth, the legend, and that person wasn't the most annoying person you've ever met?
No. Survivor South Africa fans out there, his confessional style reminded me a lot of Philip Dixon. Hopefully, I don't think he's like a bad guy like Phil.
Hopefully, he's not as bad as Philip Dixon.
Yeah,
allegedly.
Yeah, hopefully.
Girlfriend, that's nice.
I'm sure this guy's a good person, but not all. But being a good person doesn't mean I want to watch you on TV.
Yeah, he reminds me in Confessionals of Phil Dixon, who I was not a fan of on Return of the Outcasts.
Another annoying
some of
Rizo.
the stuff that was maybe going on behind the scenes with him.
Yeah, which I can like 99.9999999% guarantee that behind the scenes shit is not happening with Rizgad.
No, yeah,
He seems like a nice
I'm
guy.
not trying to
I hope
say
he's
it.
a nice
I just
dude.
want to clarify when I'm saying he reminds me of Phil Dixon. That is not what I'm referring to.
I know exactly what you mean, though.
I'm sorry, Rizzo. If you ever listen to this podcast, I'm so sorry.
He's
He might be good.
Hopefully you're fit on it.
Rizzo, the name is good. Like,
he's on
go
the
by
plane by
Rizzo,
now.
man. That is a great
Yeah,
name.
but like,
but
he's
not
on the
Rizzo.
plane by now. But this
If
guy,
Rizzo
he
on
is
50.
literally, you know, he's not even Gen Z Rick Devens. He is Gen Alpha Rick Devens.
even though he's like 10 years early for Gen Alpha, like he's so plugged in. He calls himself the Riz God. I'm sorry, I cannot get over that.
I'm excited for this guy's TikTok content and streaming career to be good.
To wrap things up, who you want to go through everybody and just have everyone say who they think are winning the whole thing?
Yeah.
Get some winner picks in?
All right. So I'm just gonna like scroll through. Just
Ben Katzman, winner.
I think
Survivor
Ben, yeah.
50 in the
Ben
hands of
winning
the
would rock.
fans.
It would rock harder than a Van Halen guitar solo.
All right, I'm down to three possible picks for the winner. I am between Tiffany, Charlie, and honestly Colby.
I'm between Tiffany, Charlie, and Angelina. I think those three are the ones to watch out for.
I have like a wild card, and I've got like an actual contender. Like someone
I
who
think needs to be in here in this conversation also.
Who?
I think Emily should be in this conversation also.
Yeah, I could see Emily happening.
I'm going with Emily is my pick. I made her my pick back when we were looking at a slightly better cast. And I'm gonna keep her in this worst cast.
I am draped in a Texas flag, so I am going to pick Colby. I think it is possible. I'm very afraid though, like we mentioned, that he'll get to the end and there's just a lot of people that just consider him old school, out of touch, and he gets like 0 jury votes and I cry at home. But I hope Colby does well, and that's just, you know, he is the biggest name here.
Yeah, if I had to pick a winner, if I had to pick one winner pick though, unfortunately, I have to go Charlie.
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
I have 3 picks.
Try to put money on it.
My hopium pick is Colby for all the reasons like I said. My kind of out there pick is going to be Chrissy. I do think she has a genuine shot here. The jury vote is definitely something that we have to consider as like, but you know, maybe she's grown then. And my serious one is going to be Emily.
Yeah.
This is going to be a bold take here. I know this is 1 in 1,000 odds, but man, I'm just going to go with Ozzy, man. It's not happening, but imagine if it does happen and I got it right.
Ozzy is coming in with something to prove.
Yeah, I would rather
props to you, Mana.
And Ozzy was coming in with something to prove on South Pacific, and we saw how that went for him. So it's not.
I'd rather get Ozzy right than get Emily right. Like
Ozzy at the live reunion for this is just gonna be like Game Changers, where he calls out Trump. It's gonna be great.
Isn't Gang a live reunion? Oh yeah, we voted on that. I forgot we voted.
Yeah, I think that's the one thing that's confidently winning.
Yeah, for me, as far as winner pick goes, I mean, I gotta ride with the Tiffany thing because at the end of the day, you know, she's the least known person, and you know what, the least known people always seem to do really well in this. So I gotta roll in the Tiffany train.
There, all of them.
Yeah.
Kyle, did you give yours?
Yeah, Angelina. I think it's going to be an Angelina summer.
that is truly the hottest girl summer we could have, is if Angelina wins Survivor. So I'm cool with that. Yeah. Are they going to give them swimsuits this time, or are they all going to still be in their dirty clothes the entire time?
Dirty clothes.
We cast Mike White, so I assume we're still listening to Tyler Perry.
Big rip.
Anything else for closing? Or?
Yeah, thanks to everybody that spent our time, like getting to hang out with us.
Yeah,
I cannot
thanks
believe
for listening all 2.5 hours of this.
Oh my! if you guys
whoever
listen
listened to
through all of
this.
this, you guys are genuinely special people. This
Thank you.
honestly might be the first like really, really, really long podcast that is like a cast assessment for 50. So
Yeah.
you know what? I think
And it's
you
and
know.
it's got some amazing quality here.
It's a bunch of people who are most excited for Jenna Lewis.
Oh, yeah.
Especially me. Especially me. Nobly excited for Jenna Lewis.
Please comment.
We podcast who could care less about seeing, Kamilla and really hyped for Stephenie LaGressa.
Yeah. I say we should call us another Survivor podcast. We actually still like Colby.
Yeah.
So I will also say, anyone listening, feel free to comment on whatever. And I think we're a generally pretty friendly group of people that have very interesting and dynamic things about Survivor. We like intellectually discussing about Survivor, not to sound too pretentious, but I have a good time chatting with y'all. And,
this is not. Yeah, we are definitely like not like similar to like the average fan base of people, but like we will hear you out regardless of whatever you need to.
We'll hear you
say.
out, and yeah.
Well,
thanks for listening, everyone, and
Thank
it was
you.
a great time.
Thank you.
Feel free to comment.
This was a blast.
This was a blast, and this is a good first episode. All right.
Yeah.
And
thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you guys so much.
Thanks, Al.
All right.
See you.
We can cut the recording whenever.
All right. We will see you guys next time.
Shout out to Gandia.